business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Hey, Lincoln and the surrounding area. Yin and Yang Acupuncture and Rune Wind Healing Arts is now open at 1701 South 17th Street in Suite 3G and ready to help you improve your general health. If you're experiencing pain, headaches, or any other issues, give Yin and Yang Acupuncture a call today at 402-480-1014 to schedule your appointment. For those struggling with deep tissue pain or just need an experienced massage therapist to melt the stress away, call Rune Wind Healing Arts at 402-601-9721 and schedule your appointment now. Visit Yin and Yang Acupuncture and Rune Wind Healing Arts today in Lincoln at 1701 South 17th Street in Suite 3G.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. A Thirsty Thursday edition of Old School here on The Ticket 93.7 and, of course, theticketfm.com. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you as always. A gloomy, overcast Thursday. That is not the case here in the studio. Big thanks to everyone tuning in. Big thanks, of course, though, Jay Foreman, to who?
The Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients, a Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Laundromat / Old Cheney, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. Every type of meat, every type of cut. But here's the problem.
Oh, there's a problem.
Yeah. According to the weather people, today was supposed to be a top 25 grill day.
Ooh, it is not that.
Yeah. So they owe us one. Just right in time for the weekend. 6 o'clock kickoff, get your grilling done, get you some libations going on. It'll be all good.
Find him at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South. Kevin will be in here
at the
top of the 4 o'clock hour.
Dang.
It's a holiday for Kevin. We'll let him explain more.
Oh, it is?
It is. The week before a holiday for the rest of us, but it's Beaujolais Nouveau Day.
What's that mean?
It's a special Kevin Meyer holiday. And
okay.
We'll let him explain. It's an annual tradition, not just for Kevin, but for the Wienophiles.
I look forward to that then.
As you should. Eric says, what's up, part-time Jay? He will not let you off the hook for that.
I'm not part-time. It's just part of the schedule. Eric. But I'm in the building.
That you are. And we are going to continue, to some degree, our conversation from yesterday, a little bit in hour 3. With Whiteboard Wednesday, and then I know Colgan J was asking about personnel and whatnot, and that was in the reference of college, right? But this has kind of been raising some eyes and some questions in the pros as well. A few weeks ago, Greg Olson, of course, Fox color analyst, was talking quite a bit about personnel around the Seahawks. So Sumer Sports has been doing some analytics sort of work. And they went off and on about how passing efficiency goes up when you have multiple tight ends on the field. The rationale behind that is teams will play heavier defensively, more in their base personnel, more linebackers on the field, allowing teams that have versatile pass-catching tight ends or really good receivers, more opportunities and avenues there. The kind of poster child for this, Jay, is the Seattle Seahawks offense. Clint Kubiak in charge of that. Seahawks have not run the ball well this year. What they have done well is throw the ball specifically out of 12 and 13 personnel. Mm-hmm. Because why? Teams have tricked themselves into looking at the personnel and trying to match that. They see the bigger bodies on the field. You see, whether it's Charbonnet or Walker in the backfield, they're going to want to run, get this guy the ball, establish it, in part due to the limitations of their quarterback, Sam Darnold. That's a guy who, like most NFL quarterbacks, thrives on schedule. He's not the Mahomes, Allen, Jackson tier of playmaker to where you can throw a lot on first down, because if he misses, well, you're behind the sticks. That's when you can heat him up and he still gets spooked and sees some ghosts. But the Seahawks have done so incredibly well is tricked teams into thinking they're running the ball out of 12 and 13 personnel. What it does is it sets up easier throws for Sam Darnold, keeps them on time, on target, and of course gives them some advantageous situations. You contrast that with what the Rams did. And this was a really interesting article from The Athletic, from what the Rams did. The Rams said, you know what? We are not going to fall for your trap, Seattle. We know you're not that great running the ball. And when the Seahawks had the ball between the 20s, the Rams played 35 snaps of nickel and dime combined, which is the most the Seahawks have faced all year, according to some ESPN research. The Rams essentially didn't fall for the trap.
Yeah.
But part of that is their personnel.
Yeah.
They have those defensive backs that can kind of play like linebackers, and they can get away with it. Just part of the evolution of the chess match.
Yeah, they can do that, but then more importantly, their defensive line is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
And they drafted the two guys from Florida State, I think, last year. And then they have developed, later round picks and sometimes, mid-range free agents and street free agents to be, more than capable players. So they're able to handle any run out of 11 or 12 personnel, with just like their front six, right? So if you're thinking about nickel, there's two linebackers. And then they mix in some guys that that play like a little bit of hybrids and linebackers, and they have safeties that are very, very smart and physical that can come down and fill in the boxes they need to, along with coverage. And so they're in a division, so they know them a little bit better than everybody else. I'm sure Seattle will do some self-scouting and work their way out of it. I'm a little surprised considering, Kubiak, who his dad is, obviously coming from Mike Shanahan's tree, and obviously Kyle. They like to run the rock. Kenneth Walker III, when healthy, he's a problem, and I think Charbonnet's still up there, right? Yeah. I always call it when we're talking to my friend Chardonnay. So you got two capable running backs, and one when healthy, Kenneth Walker III has put up good numbers. A young physical offensive line, they're probably still trying to gel. So they're going to have to be able to run the ball, but they've been very, very efficient in the pass game. Last week was a little bit of a one-off, but you're playing against one of the best teams in the league, in the league, and they don't get a lot of credit, neither does Seattle. But I still think they're a work in progress. But I think they are ahead of the schedule because of some of the stats you just said, where they're able to, I wouldn't even say trick defensive coordinators that I've worked with, and some pretty good ones, right? Wade Phillips, Ted Cottrell, Vic Fangio, Mike Nolan / Mike Singletary, and was it Kevin Lewis was our one in the Giants. He was pretty good too, and obviously we had good players. When you see 11, 12 personnel, you just can't wrap your head around they're going to throw the ball. Because you're thinking, okay,
you've just been programmed.
Yeah, you're just programmed. And you're almost calling it, all right, I'll call it, waiting for them to run, and then it never happens. And so you waste a lot of opportunities, and they continue to go off. And I like what you said, Greg Holston, what you need to do. I'm all about tendencies. They're really, really good teams, do a lot of self-scouting, and they change their tendencies based on what's working and what's not, but also knowing what another team will try to take away. And then they get back to it maybe at a later date. But Seattle's doing a really good job. They're one of the bright spots of the season. It'll be interesting to see how they rebound after this loss, because I think it's more of a learning lesson than a loss.
Well, and Seattle's an interesting case study in a couple other ways as well. Number one, the divisional familiarity they have with Kyle Shanahan, who became really known and is still known for being able to do pretty much anything he wants out of 21. Because why? Ultimate X factor, a guy like Juszczyk and McCaffrey, who can split out wide as well. defenses haven't learned from that Kittle, right? Pretty solid two-way tight end in the NFL. And then on the flip side of that is Seattle is almost doing an almost perfect job of learning the lesson that its offense is teaching other defenses. Seattle won't match based on personnel.
Yeah.
They'll match based on tendency.
Yeah.
Which probably puts a little bit more on scouting, right? On game planning and being locked in throughout the week. Because on the one hand, that's a big risk, right? If you line up heavy as an offense and you're a little bit lighter in the box on defense, that kind of invites teams to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going against a team like Seattle that needs to stay on schedule for their quarterback's sake, you don't necessarily want to give that up. But as soon as you match with that, you give Seattle exactly what they want to do, right? Offenses are leaning more and more into running the ball. We talked about that last year with the too high, the shells, the cover two, and all that sort of stuff. But Seattle's not that good at running the ball. They are begging you to take the bait and let them use their versatile pieces on offense. They'll run if they have to because they feel like they need to. But the most efficient plays for Seattle this year have been those first and second down passes out of 12 and 13, where they can give Darnold the easiest matchups. That's the give and take between offensive and defensive coordinators. What is our personnel? What can we do? Do we have the tight ends that can catch and block? Do we have the linebackers and the nickel, kind of the hybrid guys that can cover a tight end, but also still be there in run support if we need them? It's not as simple as, just don't fall for the trap. Because if you don't have the people to hold up in nickel, you got to go to base just in case.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, if you have versatile guys in your base, and that's why people like the 3-4, then you put the onus back on the offense where they don't know what you're doing. So, Seattle's taking advantage of some favorable matchups and coverage. They're predicting the coverage, they're dictating the coverage based on 1st and 10 and tendencies, as everybody's talking about what Seattle's doing. There's tendencies also in opponents and what they like to run on 1st and 2nd down against 11 and 12 personnel. And this can go all the way back to last season or whenever they, obviously, look at them. And so, Seattle has a pretty good undercovered tight end in A.J. Barner, who's a real deal. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. When healthy, their skill position guys are good. It's just a little interesting when you think of I'm looking at their offensive line. So from their center all the way to their left tackle.
Rookie, by the way, Gray Zabel.
Right, but he's more than capable.
You
saw him how he was able to handle himself against Calais Campbell. You could tell he's a day one starter. I like that. Right, where they struggled more is on the right side. So where they've had to maybe change and shift some stuff in their blocking schemes hasn't really kind of hit the ground with like they wanted. They're going to have to be able to throw the ball and move it around, maybe a short passing game. If they can't get the true conventional run game on, look for a little bit more of Jalen Milroe. Just now, what does that do? It puts more stress on the defense. It gets you away from your preparation, again, on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down. But then also it gives you another viable option to create some running plays and some rush yards to keep the teams off balance. And so the more that you can do.
Well, and the dude has a cannon arm too.
Yeah.
So you load up the box too much, you can take that shot to Shaheed or Smith.
It's not like Tim Tebow or somebody like that. So you have to really respect him. And then also they have also a pretty good wide receiver corps. When you think of Torrey Horton, if you don't remember him, he's the one that was at Colorado State, and him and his quarterback, supposedly turned down big NIL deals to stay there. He's a 1st-round talent that they got a little bit later. Jackson Smith and Jigba, along with Cooper Kupp, and then they just traded for Rashid Shaheed, who's a guy that could take your top off or take the top off the defense, kind of like Lockett was for however many years, back when they were really rolling. So they're recreating some of their old offensive habits and personnel, but then also they're able to keep teams off balance with a pretty consistent pass game.
1508 on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line says Seattle had 4 turnovers and barely got beat. So the Rams really didn't do that much. But isn't that exactly the point? Because Seattle scored in all 4 quarters. The Rams only scored in the 1st quarter, in the 4th quarter. Now, a 14-point first quarter goes a long way, and they matched Seattle with a touchdown in the 4th. But for an offense that continues to be one of the most efficient in the NFL, a guy like Sam Darnold, who for the most part has done a good job of playing on schedule, you made him put the ball in the air 44 times. That's usually a win for the defense. no matter what kind of throw Sam Darnold is making, the more you let that guy air it out, the more he will give it to you.
Yeah.
I would also say if you give Seattle 4 more possessions, all they need to do is score on 1 more of them with a field goal, which they ended up kicking, I believe, 4 of on the game. So every one of those possessions, any one of them, looks even more valuable in the aggregate. Kudos to Seattle. It speaks to their talent level to hold the Rams, again, a really good offense in its own right, to 21 points, to still put up 19 despite the 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
But that, I think, helped proves my point that the Rams continuing to not fall for the trap was maybe the difference in that game, because one possession where they don't get a turnover could have flipped it.
Yeah, and you can always say, okay, well, we did this and we only lost by so many points. At the end of the day, in the NFL, I'm telling you, they only care whether you win or lose. It literally, it's win or you die, and that's why it's such a big deal. But Seattle's on the come up. The Rams are for real. Okay, they are for real, and Seattle's in a good position as well. And so when you think about it, they get a little bit of a get back game. When you're just looking at the schedule right now, you get Tennessee. You get a more than game. What I mean by game is like a winnable game at home against Minnesota. You go to Atlanta. You like that, right? Then now you go into a little bit of a gauntlet here. Indy, Rams again, right? At Carolina. Now you think of the travel, and it's a flex game, and they're playing better, the Panthers. And then you get the last one at San Fran. So you really, as much as you just lost that one, you control your own destiny.
Oh, yeah. You're only a game back in the division.
Only a game back, and you get the get back one.
Yep.
So Seattle's in a good position, and it's really and you talk about personnel, you could talk about the tendencies. Really the best way to play, this is college for pros, or high school too. You got to learn how to study tape. I mean, I wish I knew how to study tape at the college level when I was in high school. I wish I knew how to study tape at the pro level in college. And then when I was in the pros, I wish I could study tape like I would now.
Like a retired TV guy.
Right. And when I was playing my best, I felt like, and you look at Luke Kuechly, the Zach Thomases, the Ray Lewises, any player that, you're talking about the all-time greats or guys like myself that was able to, play really well, for, 5-6 year period, right? You feel like you're making calculated, educated guesses that's letting you play free. And you're able to do that because you're studying the tendencies, you're looking at the down and distance, you're studying the personnel, you're studying the coordinator. And now you have to have a good scouting department that kind of gives you kind of like the beginning part of the cliff notes. Then you kind of make that into your own book. And then if you do that, then you're able to get the Rams had a good advanced scouting on them.
Well, and one of those advanced scouting moments was when they shift from cover 2 into essentially cover 1. Kinchins, the safety from Miami, comes down right to the middle of the field, looks open.
Yeah.
Darnold never saw him. There's an interception, almost game over.
And that is disguising what we talked about yesterday. You can show a too high. You can go into what looks like a potentially cover 3, because you can come down like you're going to what's called buzz the flat. You're coming down as a safety and you're playing deep to short in the flat. And then you could be the hole defender. So you can do a lot of different things with the same people or same personnel and run different coverages. That's the step that defensive coordinators have done now to offset the rules that allow the offenses to be so aggressive. And when you have a good mix, and the Rams are really, really young, of guys that are trying to develop and get theirs and all that, and you got somebody that can teach it and they're willing to go out there and execute it, you're able to kind of do whatever you want. Defensively now when you're in the NFL and college, you're always like, oh, I don't want to touch you. If you're within like 4 yards, do I jam them or not? If a quarterback's running, you've seen with Patrick Mahomes, he'll fake like he's going out and run 10 more yards. When you can really dictate the pace of the game, the execution of the game, and then obviously put the pressure back on the offense to try to figure out what you're doing. And you have to be able to disguise it, and it's timing as well. So when you disguise a coverage, for Culling and Jay or people out there listening, it's no different than an offense going in motion and they time it up right to where it catches the defense with that half a second of hesitation. That's all that happened to Sam Darnold. So when he snapped the ball, he's probably reading somebody on the right or left side, or he's maybe looking out his peripheral.
Mhm.
So he's seeing the middle open, and he's seeing Kitchens a little bit deep, right? Well, on the snap, as he goes here, you ain't see him.
Kitchens is already in the middle.
Yeah, and it happens to the best of them. And it's a good job by the Rams. And so what Seattle has to do is, number one, work on the run game. I mean, because when you look at it, when they beat Jacksonville, Kenneth Walker the third at 34 yards, and then when they played New Orleans Saints, who by no means is a top tier defense, he had 38 yards. So you have to figure out, okay, why are we not able to run the ball conventionally effectively? And maybe it might be one of those things, like I said about Penn State, or maybe I didn't get to mention it yesterday. Penn State, out of what would be a pro with two backs, a two-back look, even in 12 personnel, couldn't run the ball worth tiddly-poo against Michigan State.
Michigan State defense.
Once they had the same personnel and went to more of a true 11 look, right? One back, one tight end, say the tight end was flexed out or just on the other side, or he just kind of crossed the formation like I showed yesterday, they started to kind of churn out some more yards. So what Seattle has to figure out, okay, what concepts do we execute effectively, and what's been working with us? Because now our passing attack is up to snuff and has been very, very consistent. We need that running game to close out games, but then also provide opportunities for more explosive plays.
Would you say the same is true for Nebraska? Anecdotally, feels like they've been at their best running the ball when it's Lindenmeyer and three wides with Emmett Johnson.
Somewhat. I haven't really looked at their tendency.
Anecdotally.
Yeah, sure. And they can do some different things with Heinrich Harburg, because he's able to get out in space and block the people, nickels and stuff. So you're able to do some different things. And Nebraska's done a good job, with Emmett, of being creative outside of conventional run game. Check downs, swing passes, extended screens, all that, wheel routes. So you're able to draw the eyes. And then last game, where you saw both the wideouts start to get busy a little bit, that's the byproduct of it. So there might be a game that the wideouts are getting soft coverage because they're focusing to stop the run game. When you start playing pitch and catch, you break a couple tackles, you run after the catch. Well, then now the defensive coordinator is like, oh, I got to start putting some more bodies over there, eyes over there, and then now you got to have the offensive line block conventionally and make some big plays.
I'm going to call my shot here. Always risky. Maybe I shouldn't say call my shot, but maybe I'll phrase it as something I'd like to see Nebraska do. Is when they bring Heinrich Harburg in, right? They'll do that, kind of short motion and bring him back to kick out the backside guy to open something up.
Yeah.
Saw that. Was that Akron or Houston Christian? I think was the first one where he kind of laid that guy out to open it up for Emmett Johnson. Either way. Okay, fine. I'll call my shot. Nebraska's wrinkle against Penn State and or Iowa will be he kind of fakes that block, throws the guy up, and then they dump it to him because the receiver's already blocking downfield, or they clear him out, and then you get him with a head start to outrun a linebacker.
I like that. There's always, if you look at
off play action, obviously.
Yeah, if you look at Kirby Smart against Texas last week, 4th and 4 to 6 in his own territory. He ran a little bit, even like a play action. We used to call it like a cross buck. So there's they cross. The guy that crossed, he went right to the flat. Half a step by that play side linebacker, the wrong direction.
Back where the fake was probably going.
Big first down, game momentum, changing play. So those are the type of plays with Heinrich Harburg, especially if you're able to run that maybe to the field. But sometimes when you have it to the field, and what I mean by the field, for everybody's listening, if you're to the wide, if you're running that to the end of the play, is the action is at the wide side of the field. Defensively, you're automatically thinking something like that. So if you do it the flip side and hit it to the boundary, or if it's in the middle of the field and you hit it to maybe the short side or the shorter side, then it's up to Heinrich to make somebody miss, and then obviously use his God-given ability to try to create an explosive play.
Speaking of calling shots, have we officially acknowledged that you don't have to buzz the head?
Oh, no.
Have we acknowledged that?
No.
Let's take this time that not only has Nebraska won one more game, they've won 2. So
yeah, exactly. What on the post-game show, was it me and you?
It was you and Nick.
Me and Nick, and somebody called in. He was like, Nebraska's not winning another game. I said, listen, they're winning another game. I'll bet you I'll be bald headed. And I said I would go not just short. I'd go big razor. Old school.
You don't got it.
I don't have to.
You did it.
Yeah. You better not call in and challenge me again because somebody said Nebraska's not going to win the next 2 games, and I'll probably say, yeah, and then I'll have another stressful 2 weeks.
Just how you like it. Live on the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, another 4 or 5 days or whatever it is we got to next Friday.
Right. Alex, resident Broncos fan, voice of the Lincoln Star, says the Rams are like the Broncos, but with a great offense. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, just the differences between those two and quarterback Stafford to Knicks. I mean, the Broncos defense is kind of insane. Rams defense is good. I don't know if it's quite Broncos.
Not Broncos, but I know what he's saying. Styles are the same. And their offense is just, I mean, when you're choosing between, now granted, you'd always probably choose the Broncos defense.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose the Rams, you're probably you're like 1B. That's 1A, 1B. But offensively, the Rams have obviously been more explosive, more consistent, and that's where the Broncos. If you think that you had a turnaround last week, you're moving in the right direction, with Bo Nix. But I think the Bo Nix project is just a week by week, series by series, play by play. I do not know what got into that boy with those other 2 games. I've never seen anybody do it. It was almost like he was having an out-of-body experience.
They happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah, and now look at him. Looks like totally different. So we'll see.
That's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll talk some Nebraska men's basketball down in Kansas City. Fascinating stylistic matchup for Nebraska tonight. They do tonight and tomorrow.
What channel?
Peacock.
Hey, start lighting them threes up, Fred.
And that's a big part of the game plan because of how New Mexico defends. We'll talk about that and more as we continue Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Hey, Lincoln and the surrounding area. Yin and Yang Acupuncture and Rune Wind Healing Arts is now open at 1701 South 17th Street in Suite 3G and ready to help you improve your general health. If you're experiencing pain, headaches, or any other issues, give Yin and Yang Acupuncture a call today at 402-480-1014 to schedule your appointment. For those struggling with deep tissue pain or just need an experienced massage therapist to melt the stress away, call Rune Wind Healing Arts at 402-601-9721 and schedule your appointment now. Visit Yin and Yang Acupuncture and Rune Wind Healing Arts today in Lincoln at 1701 South 17th Street in Suite 3G.
No Shave November is raising awareness of men's health and prostate cancer. Limitless Male wants you to know low T is real. Low energy, brain fog, belly fat, low libido. Your T levels matter. They affect how you function. If you have symptoms, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel good, you'll wonder why you waited so long for a free consult at Limitless Male.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models, and as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into this old school. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. Plenty of Husker football stuff to get to from Matt Rule's presser today. But talking some Husker hoops first before we get there. They are down in Kansas City, part of the Hall of Fame Classic event. It'll be Nebraska versus New Mexico tonight. And then, depending on results, tomorrow the Huskers will take on either Kansas State or Mississippi State. Jay, a fascinating opponent for Nebraska to face in New Mexico. First of all, just some background on them. They obviously lose head coach Richard Pitino. Not Rick Pitino, Richard Pitino. He's back in the Big East now and coaching at Xavier. Or where did Rich go? I forget. I think it's Xavier. Either way, they lose him off of a really good year last year. Why did they bring up Rick? I typed in Richard Pitino. Yes, obviously at Xavier. Still waiting his 250th career win. He's right on the doorstep. Anyways, really good year for them. They lose a lot of guys to the transfer portal. The guy they bring in is a guy by the name of Eric Olin, head coach for San Diego last year. They were the 12 seed that pushed Michigan in the first round of that 5-12 game. One of the best defenses in college basketball last year. But what did they do? They allowed a bunch of threes. Last year, they were the 344th out of like 367 teams in three-point rate allowed. 44.4% of opponent shots came from three. 4 out of every 9 shots opponents took against them came from three. They made up for it a little bit on offense. They took the 8th highest rate of three-pointers, shooting about 50% of their shots from three as well. That's carried over to this year. New Mexico is rated even lower in terms of allowing opponents to shoot from three. 53.6% of opponent shots in the first 4 games against New Mexico have come from three. But here's the thing, Jay, they're getting away with it. Even though 54% of their opponents' shots come from three, their opponents so far only shooting 27% from three. This is going to be a team that's going to welcome Nebraska taking the three, making a very similar gamble to what Nebraska does. If you can shoot it from outside, more power to you. We'll make the bet that we won't.
Yeah, I mean, that's might be a recipe for a disaster for the Lobos there, considering the Nebraska's coming in on a heater and the way they played in the second half. Now, what Nebraska can't do is get off the bus and just, try to have an old school 3-point contest. You got to get into your offense, get good shots like you did from the second half on, because that's where your percentage, maybe that won't be 56, 57% what they had But you can shoot close to 40% and obviously be able to get out in transition as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nebraska plays after that big victory against Oklahoma. Now you're playing against a different team in New Mexico that's still trying to gel, new coach, and so the advantage does fall into the laps of the Huskers and obviously Fred Hoiberg. But and it's probably closer proximity to Kansas City, so you could see, a little bit of a road home game. And Nebraska's favorite. So I think, Nebraska, what New Mexico will allow you to do by the numbers is also what Nebraska can allow New Mexico to do. And what I mean by that is New Mexico is going to try to offset the potential of three-pointers made by Nebraska by crashing the offensive board. So Nebraska has to. It's been like this for the last 3 years for Fred's team, and maybe even farther back. If they're at or close, even Steven, in rebounding, but in particular defensive rebound and other teams' offensive rebounds, and Nebraska offensive rebounds, vice versa as well, generally Nebraska has a really, really good chance of winning.
Yeah.
One that keeps the possessions of the opponent down, more possessions to you, but then also it doesn't wear you out as much physically and mentally. And so Nebraska has to handle their business and do what they've been doing, run their sets, get good shots, put the pressure on New Mexico to deal with their pace. It's going to be interesting to see if they can play at the same pace that they were played against Oklahoma to be effective offensively.
Yeah, Nebraska will certainly jack up the threes. About 1 in every 2 shots for Nebraska has been a 3 so far this year. But you mentioned the pace, Jay. I'm glad you did, because that is where I was headed next. The other thing that New Mexico does, alongside allowing a bunch of 3-pointers, is it turns teams over.
Yeah.
I had the number right in front of me here. The numbers for New Mexico in terms of turnovers, they force an opponent turnover percentage of 23%. So almost 1 in 4 possessions for an opponent will end in a turnover against New Mexico. They're going to shoot their gaps. They're going to take their chances being up in your grill. Here's the flip side of that. Nebraska's taken really good care of the ball this year. It's a top 25 mark in terms of turnover percentage for New Mexico State on defense. Nebraska's in the top 20 in turnover percentage on offense. They're only turning it over 12.6% of the time. Despite facing some pretty athletic teams, they handled it pretty well against BYU in the non-conference exhibition. Even the pressure defenses of, say, Florida International and West Georgia didn't really bother Nebraska. Against Oklahoma, they took really good care of the ball, especially in the second half. Here's another challenge for Nebraska's guards. Can they stay out of foul trouble? Can they make sure that the right decision makers have the ball?
Yeah, and that's the most important thing is obviously keeping the turnovers low. And I consider offensive rebounds turnovers. That's just the way I would look at it because you're giving them another chance with the ball. And so they're going to try to create some easy buckets for themselves and try to get a little bit of a comfortable lead, considering that they're going to assume Nebraska's going to have to or will hit 3-pointers at a decent clip. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this pressure. When you look at the 3 guards, for New Mexico is, they all average double digits, but there's not a huge volume of minutes per game. So that means they're rotating pretty freely and they're getting guys in. So that lets you know they're going to try to crank up the pace and wear you out, try to get easy turnovers. But more importantly, pressure. And sure, we talked about their ability to turn you over, but it's also it's like a hockey assist. What does that pressure do to the flow of your offense? It can be, if Nebraska lets it be, the kryptonite to what we've seen this offense be. Because when this offense is on time and on target, it's just kind of rinse and repeat, and somebody's going to get a good shot. And good shots are ones that you take within the offense that you normally would make, even if you don't make them.
In rhythm, right? In timing, in sequence. The other
Nothing
thing,
forced.
No.
Yeah.
The other thing that will help Nebraska in that is continuing to defend without fouling. Nebraska is number 10 in the country right now, allowing opponents only a 19.1% free throw rate. Now, teams shoot their free throws really well against Nebraska, but Nebraska hasn't fouled much as a defense. And this can go both offensively and defensively, Jay. New Mexico, not a good 3-point shooting team. They're going to want to put their head down and drive to the basket. This is a Nebraska team without much, traditional sort of rim protection. So if Nebraska can find ways to defend without fouling, grab the rebound off a contested layup and go, that's going to keep Nebraska in flow. But if the other team, if New Mexico is sitting at the free throw line, Nebraska's still not great in the half court. When they have to stop and start like that, for a jump shooting team, you like to be in the flow of the game, in the rhythm, getting up and down and getting after it a little bit there. And then the flip side of that for the Nebraska offense is to not settle.
Yeah.
Take the open shots that they give you, but Nebraska is well below average in terms of its own free throw rate on offense. It's great if you're hitting your shots, but don't just take the threes because they're there. This is a game where if you're Jamarcus Lawrence, don't be afraid to stick your nose in the paint, right? Cale Jacobson, get downhill. Price Sanford, don't just coast out on the wing. They want to invite you to do that, but make sure you're creating those opportunities to still get those paint touches and put pressure on the rim.
Yeah, and don't fall. Really, just don't fall in love with your press clippings, right? Or what the last coach said, your pace, right? Your pace doesn't. You don't have to get off the bus and try to play at some frantic pace.
No,
you can pick and choose when you go to your fastball, right, to close people out. But then also you can throw an off-speed pitch to them and provide force against force. That's impose your own physicality. And if you look at Cale Jacobson, and obviously Sam Hoiberg, and obviously other guys where you can get into the paint, get paint touches, those are just like, body blows to a defense. And so the more that you make a team like New Mexico play defense in your rhythm later in the shot clock, bodes well for Nebraska later in the game. And then obviously we'd like it in real time, but in the later in the game, it does, because then you'll get easier shots. Your percentage will continue to be pretty consistent. Then you get to the free throw line. And then when you need to hit timely threes, you got more than, 5 or 6 guys that are capable to fill it up.
New Mexico hasn't really played anybody so far this year. Nebraska's, of course, been tested a couple times. It's going to be important for Nebraska to get off to a fast start. Buzzwords and all that. It is true, though. This is a team in New Mexico that's still finding itself. I think if Nebraska gets hot early, I think Nebraska could keep them at arm's length in the second half and kind of start looking ahead to tomorrow, right? Still keep the foot on the gas enough. But either way, Nebraska, favored by about 10 points, ought to win this one by about that much, if not more, especially if the shots go down. Today's a huge opportunity to set the stage for what could be the next big opportunity against either Kansas State or Mississippi State tomorrow.
This is a big maturity game for Nebraska. You're probably the better team. You should beat them, but you got to go out there and earn it, and you can't get into that AAU mentality. Okay, we took a bus trip down to, I'm assuming they flew down or drove down to Kansas City, and you kind of get back, get all kind of fun and games in the hotel and all that stuff, and then you go out there and you lay an egg. So Nebraska, kind of like where they were able to really show maturity last year in Las Vegas, right? They were the odds-on favorite to win the tournament, or one of them, and they
which was so weird thing about how that team was playing with the 5-game losing streak to end the regular season, but body work, I guess.
Yeah, and then they went in there and got busy. So they just got to do more of the same. Still a team that's learning each other, but it's always easier to learn while you're playing good basketball and winning, no matter if it's in Sioux Falls or Kansas City.
Who looked bad shooting the 3-ball last night? That blue team up the interstate. That's from disc golf. Jake Creighton does end up winning that game. They
took old buddy out of his red shirt.
They did.
That's how bad it is.
Yikes. Yeah, McDermott's comments about that was kind of funny.
Well,
something to the effect of, well, at least I can trust this kid to know what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, but you taking him out of his red shirt because he can follow instructions. That means you need to deliver the instructions to other people a little bit more with a little bit more authority and clarity. Because he's not going to play that much. Now, do you overplay him because of that? See, you could that's that. Was you around? Were you alive when Cody Green got pulled out his red shirt?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember Cody Green.
Yeah, remember it was like, Cody Green showed for they were like, oh, he looks good, and he had some potential. Man, you put this man backed up against Oklahoma in in the third quarter or something.
Yeah,
you've been sitting for 4 hours. They've been doing it. Probably ain't practiced in a month. You know what I mean? Here you go.
Have fun, Cody.
Yeah, go out right out there on the 1 yard line.
You got this.
Yeah, you got this. See, told you couldn't play.
It feels to me, not to throw guys under the bus, but it does feel like Hudson Greer at least has a chance to impact Creighton positively, as opposed to like Alex Bullock, who we're seeing thrive at South Dakota State. Do you overplay him just because he's going to be in the right spot? Wyatt Lever,
yes.
Why are those guys on the field at the end of the game? Because you can trust him to be in the right spot, but do you trust him to make a play? Hudson Greer can at least make a play.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Bullock's sneaky athletic though.
That's what I'm saying.
But I know what
team
you mean.
context plays in. But
I totally agree. And it's a great opportunity for him to really carve out a role.
Yeah.
So you got the green light, man. You got to turn it into fluorescent. So
That's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We'll be back to wrap up hour 1 of Old School in just a sec.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No Shave November is raising awareness of men's health and prostate cancer. Limitless Male wants you to know low T is real. Low energy, brain fog, belly fat, low libido. Your T levels matter. They affect how you function. If you have symptoms, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel good, you'll wonder why you waited so long for a free consult at Limitless Male.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Fight fans, Dynasty Combat Sports returns to the Pinnacle Bank Arena on Friday, November 21st for a massive night of cage fighting action. UFC veteran Derek Minner headlines as he faces Missouri's Jacob Ritchie. In the co-main event, Lincoln's Nate Morrow battles Ashton Caniglia, with Sean Lindgren and Jeremy Small throwing down in the featured pro bout. Local prospects Easton Edmund, Boudin, and Andrew Huffman lead the amateur side. 16 total fights are set for another electric night in the cage. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the arena box office. Fight card subject to change.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you here on Old School. 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of the conversation, like Disc Golf Jake, like Mississippi Mud Dog John and Cortland, Colgan Jay, Brad, Alex, Ben, and 1508. And Eric, I suppose, as well, even though you're throwing shade at Jay, we'll shout you out as well. A couple bits of breaking-ish news, Jay, from the college sports-osphere. Baylor set to announce this afternoon that Mack Rhoades is out as athletic director. Apparently, ever since he took that leave of absence, they have been working on that severance package.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a little bit deeper than just him getting in a guy's face based on having a yellow undershirt. So, but again, once you have a change in leadership, what does that do to your two flagship coaches?
Yeah.
Does that get the ball movement, for Aranda? Obviously, with this coaching cycle, even though Baylor's been okay, he still would be pretty sought after at the, level 2 of colleges that are looking for a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does it do with Drew with the basketball team? I mean, obviously, I think he has way more stability and enable or the ability to dictate his future, but
he also maybe let that chance go a little bit when he didn't take the Kentucky job.
Correct. And that's that when that light shines the brightest, he's like, I'm comfortable here because of being familiar with Mr. Rhoades. Now Mr. Rhoades is gone. Now do you have a little bit of, I won't say buyer's remorse, but I guess buyer's remorse that you rebought into Baylor. But now it's like, okay, maybe not this year, maybe not even next year. In year 3, where possibly could I go? And would I ever get a chance to coach at Kentucky again?
Or if you are a relatively big name program looking to make a change, say your Villanova and Kevin Willard doesn't work out, say, I don't know, your Texas A&M and Bucky McMillan doesn't work out, and Scott Drew's right there.
Oh, he would be.
Say your Gonzaga and Mark Few steps down
at the top of everybody's list if he, had chose to, or his agent was kind of putting out feelers. There's no doubt about it. But all those schools that you just mentioned aren't Kentucky.
What about LSU?
Basketball-wise?
Basketball-wise. Clearly not Kentucky,
yeah,
but SEC job.
But the AD and all the stuff, I mean, there's no perfect situation, but Kentucky was probably first chance to get your Lamborghini at, at half price. But, he'll have plenty of opportunities to go somewhere.
If he even goes anywhere at all.
Yeah,
not trying to put that out there. He seems like a Baylor lifer. I mean, the work that he did bringing that program back from the brink and turning Baylor of all, programs into a national championship program. Of course, it had been done before on the women's side. The Griner and Mulkey era did happen, but a little bit different deal on the men's side. The other news closer to the Big Ten here, Jay, the Big Ten kind of capital investment private equity sort of deal, dead for now. According to the Cal Pension Fund, they said there's no deal on the table thanks to many regental approval processes that need to happen or not. So Big Ten teams are safe from the private equity shark for now.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if it was a shark. It was a life preserver for a lot of teams.
That would have very quickly turned into a shark.
Yeah, it just depends on what, how big a shark it would have been, but you needed, you're not going to get that type of influx of money without giving up some sort of equity. And there's some universities and flagship universities in the Big Ten that really needed that. So now they're starting over. Now it doesn't mean you can rekindle that within one phone call or email.
Oh yeah.
But it was spearheaded or the deal was done or put out by USC and Michigan.
Yeah.
So you got one blue blood in the Big Ten and one newbie dictating what the other 16 teams all were okay with. Maybe not want it, but they're all okay with it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting move because it, when it was first reported, it's like, oh, they're at the forefront. They're changing the game. Now the game changed on them. Now they're back to square one. Tough. It's tough. I mean, it got put out real quick. I mean, that's tough right there.
It is. And I can understand Michigan and USC not wanting it. I can understand UCLA and Rutgers, yes, wanting it. But I just go back to
Well, Michigan needs it. They need money in the worst way.
Really?
Yeah, really. And Illinois, for sure. So the animosity is real. Now, I think they wanted a bigger share.
Well, Michigan was getting a bigger share.
Yeah, but they, for some reason, USC thinks we're on the same level. I don't know what the reasons were.
Well, it was going to be Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State getting the biggest share. Then USC and Oregon were the other two that would have gotten kind of that medium share, and the other 13 schools all would have had the same.
So they wanted more up towards the top. They wanted to have 4 and 1. But are you trying to tell me you got a bigger brand in awareness than Oregon? This ain't the Pac-12. Pac-10.
It is not the Pac-12.
Recent history, I would say no. They probably don't ever want to be compared to Oregon.
But does Oregon even need the money like that?
No, but they'll take it. If Oregon had fought it because they have supposedly all the money they need, I can understand. USC and Michigan, I probably don't understand it. But either way, the deal is done. Kind of sucks.
For now.
Yeah.
Stuck in neutral.
Yeah, that's tough.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens or it doesn't. Nebraska could be set to receive about $110 million. Maybe 240 eventually, but 110 up front. So that's Nebraska was one of the 16 schools that was in on it. They said, yep, let's do it. Just Michigan and USC said nope. And apparently that caused some others to change their minds too. But you can't really do that without Michigan and USC. I mean, to your 5 self-proclaimed biggest brands.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to try to push that through over their heads.
But dang, you caught on some favors though. You swayed 3 or 4 teams each.
Yeah.
Well, I try to blow them dudes out every time I try to play against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you had plans for that 110, 240.
You cost me that paper.
Yeah.
Oh, well. EJ Foreman, I'm Austin Norman. The Kevin Meyer holiday's coming up. If Uncle Kev can find a parking spot, we will start Thirsty Thursday either with or without Kevin Meyer next.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The looking forecast for today, patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and light winds. The high near 53. Tonight, a chance of showers with patchy fog. A low around 32. And tomorrow, a continued chance of showers throughout the day with patchy fog possible. See a high near 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Here it is. Woo! that was the biggest letdown of all time. Maybe not of all time, but it was really pathetic.
Okay, back on track.
Back on track, man. I've got so much road rage. I don't know what's going on downtown, but I almost 4x4'd it over a couple of medians against the wrong way just to get here and get a stall.
Well, we appreciate that we mean that much to you that you would risk that to be here, Kevin.
Well, you know, risk reward. This is the highlight of the week for us. So, you know, we have the reward.
What you got there, player?
I'm pouring a little aggressive. This looks like ice cream on top. I better slow down a little bit. But this is, you know, we're diving fully into the holiday beers. This is called Inflatable Snowman. It's from Cross Train Brewing up in Omaha, and it's a lager with cranberry and cinnamon. But I'm pouring this out first. But we're going to do the wine first because
that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. It's a special day to be a wine nerd. And I don't think that this beer is going to set that wine up very well. So we're going to do the wine first. And it happens to be Beaujolais Nouveau Day.
The most wonderful.
What is that?
So
Austin's been talking about this for 2 days.
I was
trying to prepare you for the Kevin Meyer, not just national, but international holiday.
I'm glad you asked. Let me pour. I'm multitasking. Here we go.
What's it called again?
Beaujolais Nouveau.
Jay, your
It
turn.
literally
Beaujolais Nouveau.
That
There you go.
literally means new wine or new Beaujolais. This one is done by Georges Duboeuf, who's known as the king of Beaujolais. He got to start as a 12 or 13-year-old kid, and apparently he can do this in France. But he was on his bicycle, and he would traipse up and down the countryside looking for wines that he deemed to be, quote unquote, all fruit and flower on the palate. And he would buy them from the local purveyors and then sell them to the cafes. And as literally like a 13, 14-year-old kid. And that's how he got his start. Now, Beaujolais Nouveau dates back hundreds and hundreds of years. And essentially, the premise is that back in the days of the French monarch, the peasants used to have to do all the work. Okay. They harvested all the grapes, they tended to the vineyards, they made all the wine, and then the royalty would take it all. So what they would do is that they would steal some and squirrel it away, and they would make this wine very, very quickly, as not to be noticed. So it's picked, fermented, bottled, all within about a 3-week time frame. We're not talking oak barrel aging. We're not talking any of that stuff. It's grape to bottle, boom. And basically it served a multi purpose. Number one, kind of celebrating the changing of the seasons, the completion of the harvest, the finish of their work. And number two, to have kind of a party and celebrate. And number three, to kind of stick it to the man a little bit, which, we all like to do. It's just kind of one of those things where the world isn't a very fair place. So anytime you can do what you can in order to get your comeuppance, I'm all for it. So, and then basically what happened is that in the cafes in Paris, began to be very curious about this new wine. It's always the first wine produced in the Northern Hemisphere. So they would send their horse and buggies and they would have races to see who could get the new wine first. And then that spread throughout Europe. Well, now it's all air freighted. So we all get it the third Thursday in November. By French wine law, can be released no sooner. And so it corresponds exactly a week before Thanksgiving every year. So it's a celebration. And not only that, but it goes really well with a Thanksgiving meal because, number one, it's pretty light. It's pretty fruity. It has a little bit of cranberry-esque. Sometimes this grape, called Gamay, by the way, also has a little bit of like strawberry and banana notes, but it's a red wine that you can chill. It's a red wine that you can serve to people that don't think they like red wine. But it's not really sweet per se, but it's light, it's simple, it's fruity, it's easy. And it's always released on the third Thursday in November, which happens to be today.
Bright, fruity, smells really good right off the bat.
You get that real banana on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the flavor profile too.
Yeah. I like this one right here.
It's just, it's not meant to be a serious, complex, highbrow type of wine. It's meant to be kind of the French party wine, the celebration wine. And that's what we're doing today.
That was going to be one of my questions for you. Obviously, it's good. It tastes good because it is maybe a little bit different than the normal, wine gets better with age. Age is like a fine wine sort of crowd.
Yeah, we usually tell people drink this by Easter because it'll start to go the other way. It'll last longer than that, but that's when it's in its best window.
But this is a wine you drink more for the experience of saying, hey, we have Beaujolais Nouveau, more so than, oh, look how much I know about wine. And I can pick out all these different little flavors.
Right. How sophisticated this meal is going to be or something along those lines.
Kevin, you need to describe wines just an easy way. Do you have to taste it? And you know how you raise your pinky when it's real sophisticated? If not, this is just a pinky up, pinky down one.
This is a pinky down. This is a party wine. And you can get in trouble with this because it's kind of funny. Well, years ago, my father would always have this annual Beaujolais Nouveau party, and it was the Saturday before Thanksgiving after the wine was released, and the proceeds would go to charity and whatnot. And my best recollection and description of this was that it was basically a high-class kegger.
Not quite Bagnall level.
Well,
so is it like a pumped up box wine?
We're talking
box wine,
suits and sequin dresses and high heels and live music and food and dancing and
Studio 54 time.
Yeah, it was. And liability has changed a lot, and so I decided not to continue that tradition of having a Beaujolais Nouveau party. Instead, we just sell it.
Okay, you mentioned that Beaujolais Nouveau obviously sounds very French. So a couple kind of snooty French questions on that. Number one,
do it.
Do you know of any places, any countries, any people that have broken international French wine law? And if so, what are the penalties for releasing Beaujolais Nouveau too early?
Well, if you get caught, they will not sell it to you ever again. So as a purveyor, you don't really want that. It's not really worth the payoff to, and frankly, it hits the warehouse like the beginning of the week. So getting it a couple of days early is not a big deal. But just for your own edification, those of you playing at home, the Beaujolais region is the southern tip of Burgundy, and Burgundy is the east central part of the country, and it's a long, skinny, vertical region. And so the southern end of that is Beaujolais. Now, technically, it's considered part of the Burgundy region. I consider it its own separate subregion because it's the only area that isn't Pinot Noir in that area. It's made of a grape called Gamay. So it's a different grape. It's connected, but it's not really the same. So I consider Beaujolais its own region.
The other snooty French thing, speaking of regions, is it's only Champagne if it comes from the Champagne region of France. Do other places do their own version of Beaujolais Nouveau? Is it only Beaujolais Nouveau if it comes from the Beaujolais region? How does that work?
Correct. So if it's not from Beaujolais, it can't be called Beaujolais. There are some that make a Gamay Nouveau to sort of piggyback off of that, sort of steal the concept. But in order to be called Beaujolais Nouveau, it has to come from that specific region in France, in the southern tip of Burgundy.
When other places release theirs, do they try to line it up with this, or do they know like, this is Beaujolais Nouveau Day, we'll just release our first one of the season when it comes?
I think they try to line it up along with it. You don't see a lot of the fake stuff, just simply for the fact that it's like, why waste your money on the fake stuff when you can get the real stuff? These are $15, $15.99.
Worth it.
And it's not a wine that you're trying to like mark up and make a bunch of money on. You want to get it in, you want to get it sold, and you want to get it out the door, and allow people to have that for their holiday meal. And so 90% of it gets sold the first week, and then the rest trickles out between now and New Year's, essentially.
I was going to ask you, is it a good, if you have like a New Year's gathering of people of age, probably over 30, 35, and you're having wine, this would be a good wine to have for New Year's, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of simple, it's easy, it's fruity, it's sort of a party wine, but man, it's like quaffable, chuggable almost. Like
what does it run percentage wise?
It's still probably going to be in the 13 range. So 12.5. So
that does not feel like it.
It does not.
Wow.
It does not.
That's
so
the whole point until the next day. Right?
I can speak from experience, the Beaujolais Nouveau hangover is not fun. Not fun.
The new gets old pretty quick.
Well, it can. The trouble is so like when my father would have these parties, they would have these volunteers that basically their job was just to circulate the party and keep your glass full. And so it was super easy to lose track of how much he had. And so, I mean, I could tell some stories that were inappropriate for the radio, but I can tell you that I've over imbibed as my wife did too 1 year. And the next day is a little painful. Yeah, we'll just put it that way.
Before we get on to the inflatable snowman from the friends at Cross Train, Gus Mohawk wants to know, in the movie Bottle Shock, is that an accurate take on a California vineyard?
It is. Bottle Shock is based on a true story, and what the story is called the Taste of Paris. So these sommeliers went all over the world and gathered up wines to do a blind competition, and so at the time back then, Napa Valley and American wines were considered greatly inferior to Europe and Old World producers. And what happened was there's this one particular winery called Chateau Montelena that submitted their Chardonnay against the Burgundy producers. So when you drink a white Burgundy, it's made of Chardonnay. When you drink a red Burgundy, it's Pinot Noir. They submitted their Chardonnay and won. To the ire of all of these snobby French producers, and this
probably
happened,
the ire of the whole country.
And really, I mean, the world in that regard. So this happened in the 1970s, And so the movie Bottle Shock is a fictional representation of that actual event. So it is a fair representation. Now, did the guy and his dad get in a boxing ring and fight? No, they didn't do that. But ironically or coincidentally, Stag's Leap actually won the red against Bordeaux. And we're talking Chateau Lafite Rothschild, Chateau Mouton Rothschild, Chateau Margaux, and Stag's Leap actually won the red side. So 2 American Napa Valley wines won the blind tasting of Paris back in the 1970s. And that's what the movie's based upon.
Jay, the main character in that movie is played by Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber from Die Hard, Severus Snape from Harry Potter. Do you know Alan Rickman's character's name in the movie Bottle Shock? It is a very famous college football name that has come up on the show multiple times this week.
That's a great
James
question.
Franklin?
It's not James Franklin. Kevin, do you know?
I do not.
Alan Rickman's character's name in Bottle Shock, Stephen Spurrier.
There you go.
I would not have known that. I had to look it up. But
but you're pulling that out of the ether, man. That's pretty impressive.
This is Thirsty Thursday here on The Ticket. Kevin Meyer, Myers Cork and Bottle with us here. We are a week away from Thanksgiving. Stop by 13th and South. Make sure you stock up. Beaujolais Nouveau is here.
Beaujolais Nouveau is here. Turkey Day wine sale going on. 75 or 100 different wines on discount.
Woo!
And our staff eager and ready to help you with your holiday selections.
And then when you're coming down from the classy stuff, maybe this is a classy beer, I don't know, but the inflatable snowman from Crosstrain. Take us through it, please.
The inflatable snowman from Crosstrain. It is a lager flavored with cranberry and cinnamon, and it certainly tastes like it. It has that pink color from the cranberry. The cinnamon pops in kind of on the back end. Easy to drink. Just a hint of sweetness. I knew the beer would probably throw the wine off. I think the wine is also throwing the beer off a little bit, but I mean, it kind of tastes like a holiday beer in a can. And to be honest, I've never had a beer from Crosstrain that I didn't love. They just really know what they're doing and seem to hit everything out of the park. And even if you don't consider yourself like a keep your fruit out of my beer type guy, this one is fun to try, and it just tastes like the holidays and looks like the holidays. It's got a inflatable snowman on the label with a house and snow and all kinds of fun stuff.
Are you an inflatable snowman at your house, family?
No, I am not a decoration guy. I've worked my entire life essentially in retail. And so my first job out of college, I worked for what was known at the time was Nebraska Cellular when they were owned out of Grand Island, and then changed the name to Alltel, changed the name to Alliant, and then changed the name to Alltel. And I can remember working in the store, and this was when cell phones first took off. And they had do you remember Muzak?
I do not.
So Muzak was this basically thing you could subscribe to, and businesses did, and it would play, usually it was instrumental, but it didn't have to be. Well, it played the same 15 Christmas songs on a loop continuously from beginning of November through New Year's. And it was like, for me, it became like a Clockwork Orange. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I mean, super disturbing movie, kind of a cult thing from the 80s. But one of the premises of the movie was that they put these clips in this guy's eyes to hold his eyes open so he couldn't fall asleep, and then played Beethoven's Fifth over and over and over on a loop and made him crazy. Well, that experience did that to me with holiday music. And so I'm over it now with a little bit of therapy and some time. And but no, not a big decorations guy. My wife will put out various knickknacks, and we might do a small tree, but no, I'm just not doing it.
Fair enough. Jay, what do you like
call
about
me
the
a
drink?
Scrooge, though.
No, absolutely not.
What'd you say?
What do you like about the drink?
I like it. It's pretty smooth. I mean, I like the taste, and it's
got a little bit of that tartness to it.
Yeah, I could get in some trouble with
that, and then a little bit of cinnamon. I mean, it just kind of tastes like it sounds.
I got the tart right away. I'm still searching for the cinnamon.
Really?
I taste the cinnamon.
Yeah, I taste it too. More on the finish than up front. You sort of get the cranberry up front and the cinnamon on the back. But just kind of a fun beer, and you can see just sort of, it's cold outside. maybe you're sitting around opening presents, or the kids are in bed now and it's time for a nightcap,
Yeah,
a
it's
beer
Christmas
like this.
Eve.
Yeah.
Late Christmas Eve. Just got done wrapping presents and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that would be the ticket for a beer like this for sure. Pun intended.
Right. Even the color like gives it away. Like, I think most people when they look at this would think, oh, it's gonna be super sweet. Oh, it's gonna be like cranberry juice. Like, you get the natural kind of cranberry taste and tart, which I think works really well.
Agreed. Yeah, it doesn't taste like artificial cranberry like you're drinking a Jolly Rancher. It tastes natural, has that kind of nice pinkish color, and I think it's delicious. And what I thought was really unique, though, is that when you poured it, the beer is pink, but the head was pure white.
Yeah.
And I poured it kind of aggressively because I was coming in off
because you were the color of the beer. There,
bit of a road
race.
race, and
pumped up.
I was, coming in hot, trying to get ready to get on the air, and it so it looks cool in the glass too. So if you're playing at home, try the Cross Strain Inflatable Snowman. It's a lager infused with cranberry and cinnamon, and definitely try the 2025 Georges Duboeuf Beaujolais Nouveau. Just in French, they say "est arrivé," which means it arrived. It just "est arrivé" today.
Where did it arrive to today?
Here.
But where is here?
Where is here? Lincoln, Nebraska, Myers, Cork and Bottle, 13th and South.
There we go.
Look for the neon.
You nailed it.
Oh, and get this. So on Monday, I had a pigeon commit suicide and short out the neon.
Oh no!
So it just
man.
now is right now we're temporarily Cork and Bottle instead of Myers Cork and Bottle. It's a great look, especially for the holidays. It's like, oh, thanks a lot. So
birds.
Yeah, it and the neon sign company can't get over for a couple of weeks or a week to fix it. So right now we're just Cork and Bottle, but if use your imagination.
We know it's Myers. So
we know it's Myers.
Speaking of the Myers, hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Appreciate all you do for us, and happy Thanksgiving to all the listeners too.
He's Kevin. He's Jay. I'm Austin. We'll be back with Old School after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work?
Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School here on The Ticket. Austin Foreman and Jay Foreman with you. As always, 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Bada Bing listening on YouTube. Apologies, we did not see that and get that question to Kevin. He did have a recommendation. Unfortunately, the spot's closed. So we can't really help you out much there. I'm sure there are many wonderful places. And hey, here's the thing, right? It's the holiday season. It's her birthday tomorrow. Just go ahead and make it about the people more so than the place. I get it. The food, the wine, it plays a role as it always should, but I don't think you can go wrong. Safe travels up to Omaha tomorrow for you as well. This segment of our proceedings brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Howland, Nebraska. They offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. To learn more, you can give them a call today at 402-430-3852, or you can visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Big shout out to Gary and the folks over there at Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Really appreciate them, everything they do for us here at the station, and of course here on the show. Talked a little bit of NBA yesterday. I think it's worth talking through again today, just because Nikola Jokic is insane. The man is a certifiably nuts basketball player. He is incredibly good. In fact, Jay, Nikola Jokic is such a good basketball player that he now leads the decade, the entirety of the 2020s, in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. The only major stat tracking category he does not lead the NBA in is blocks, where he and many others are behind Miles Turner, formerly of the Pacers, and now with the Milwaukee Bucks, of course. But man, Nikola Jokic, again, leading the 2020s, the entire decade, in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. First of all, that on its own is pretty insane.
Yeah, and it's considering that, LeBron's still been playing at a high level, Durant, and then obviously think about James Harden when he went on that magical 2 or 3 year, heater. Let's not forget.
Mm-hmm. Steph's still playing.
Yeah, his former teammate Russell Westbrook, averaged a triple-double. So the Joker quietly is going to go down, obviously is one of the better players of his time, and obviously, rightfully so. But, it'll be interesting to see when he hangs it up, how the appreciation for what he's able to do and where he's came from, what he's able to accomplish, and how consistent he's been. He's just dominating and doesn't even look like it. And that's when you know he's a great player. Plays at his own pace, plays the game every night. You know, he goes out and does his thing.
Well, you talk about playing at his own pace, right? We talked about that yesterday. The pace increasing in the NBA. Certainly that's going to help boost his numbers. But this is a guy that doesn't look like he should be able to keep up at that pace. To be able to look like that and play this style tells you all about how he thinks about the game and how good he is mentally.
Yeah, it's more, I mean, his physical skills and obviously being able to expand his range, you know, beyond the three-point line is obviously really helps him. And then obviously his body being able to be extremely physical. But I think more importantly, Austin, is that you have an organization and a team around him that recognizes his greatness and they play through him and play with him versus, you know, you could have 4 guys out there, obviously more athletically gifted and faster, and then just kind of play keep away from him. They'll take advantage of it, but also I think they play off of, you know, his signature move is get the rebound quick out you know, from the basket and throws essentially a bomb, and they're always on time and on target. I think it's a great mix, and it's kind of like Steph and the Splash Brothers. When you have an organization that recognizes your greatness, like the Nuggets finally recognize where he was at, and obviously you got to thank Coach Malone for that, and obviously everybody else that's there. This is how you get one of the all-time greats. Maybe that's something that, you know, everybody's mad at LeBron about the decision, but probably at that time, Cleveland wasn't really trying to support him in the way that these teams have supported Jokic and obviously Curry and obviously other players. You saw it with the Miami Heat. They obviously brought in LeBron to support Dwayne Wade or work alongside Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And so you just got to, you know, just watch him every night. And, you know, it was a few nights ago with that when they played the Warriors. I mean, the dude is unstoppable.
Yeah.
But doesn't look pretty. But he kills everybody. And and it's more with his mind, too, because he makes no mistakes. And if he I know he missed a shot down the stretch or two, you just know the next time he's coming for vengeance. So you just got to be appreciative. It's great. His consistency. I think I saw Windhorse on, was it NBA Today or NBA, you know, pregame show. And he didn't even want to say the stats. He was looking at me. He's like, I cannot believe what I'm about to read to you right now.
Yeah. Here are some of those stats. He's 7th in the NBA in scoring and points per game at 29. He leads the NBA in rebounds per game and assists per game.
Assists per game, yeah.
That's center.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
In assists per game with 11.1, which, yes, only 14 games into the season, but would still be a career high for him. He averaged a career high 10 last year and a second best mark in his career, 9 to that point the year before that in his MVP season. He's shooting overall 64%, making about 11 of his 17 shots per game. He's shooting 73% from 2. Heard this today. He's shooting 76% on post-ups.
Yeah.
One of the least efficient shots in basketball. He's shooting an even 40% from 3 after shooting 41% last year on about 4.5 attempts per game. Oh, and just for kicks, he's also shooting 86% from the free throw line. You look at his player efficiency rating, which kind of measures everything a guy does on the floor. Jay, right now, he's pacing to have the greatest individual season of all time. The second greatest individual player efficiency rating season of all time, also happening this year. But Jokic is 3 points clear of Giannis, who's also playing incredible. If you go by just player efficiency rating, Jokic has the current number 1, number 3, number 7, number 15, number 18, and number 23 seasons of all time from an individual. And again, some of that is it measures the box score, more possessions, you're going to get more chances to put up more numbers. But the guys at the top of that list, Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Wilt, those guys are responsible for the top 9 individual seasons so far before you finally get to a couple different names there, and Michael Jordan at 10 in his 97-90 or 87-88 year, and then not quite apex LeBron in 2008-2009.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dude, man. I mean, when you look how consistent he is, and then, you know, he's averaging almost, 3 turnovers a game. That he's putting up point guard numbers in a center's body and a power forward speed, and a knockdown open 3-point shooter's, range.
Yeah.
And he's doing it against the best of the best. And sure, the pace, is increased. So yeah, it's easier to score, But I don't think it's easier for him because he can't really break you down out there. He's not like Wemby, has a whole bunch of serious, fakes and can handle the ball. He has to use his mind so much, and he's on cruise control, and that's where it's scary for the NBA or for the rest of the Western Conference and the rest of the NBA is because his emergence and his consistency has brought up a guy like Aaron Gordon. Now, obviously, with Michael Porter Jr. gone, and obviously more falls on his plate. But Aaron Gordon, if you watch Denver a lot, he has found a way better than Michael Porter Jr. did when he was there to play with and around Jokic. And then therefore, that's why he's able to stay. You got to think that front line with those two. I mean, you talk about some tough dudes and the ability to guard, and obviously Aaron Gordon. And then Aaron Gordon has really stretched his range. And I think the partnership with Jokic has really helped him, be that third 20-plus point scorer, per game. And that's where Denver, they're always going to be in the mix for a championship. And they showed last year how good they can be, taking Oklahoma City to the 7th game.
There's obviously a big gap between Nikola Jokic and whoever's second on his team in terms of touches, just because of how much he does for that team. He's playing 34 minutes a game, which is not a career high by any stretch, but hasn't missed a game yet, I believe.
Nope.
Played off 14, playing about 34 and a half minutes per game. The fewest minutes per game he played was obviously when he first got to the league, 22, 28. He's played over 31 minutes per game since then. Fewest number of games he's played is 69 games in a full season. So he's durable, he's dependable, he's out there. And to your point, he's making the right decisions. This dude is 4th in the NBA in touches behind Josh Giddey, the engine of the upstart Bulls, Tyrese Maxey really breaking out again for Philadelphia, and Cade Cunningham for the Detroit
Who's a
Pistons.
volume ball handler and the guy.
All guards.
Yeah, for Detroit. Whereas, he has the most touches, but when you think it, he's efficient with it, and he's able. Everybody knows the pace, but his efficiency, I think, offsets the pace and the wear and tear on him. And obviously, he knows how to play the game, so he doesn't waste a lot of energy. Trying to do what everybody else is doing, and he doesn't play the guard position. But when you're leading the league in assists as a player that's playing off of him, it makes the game easier because the matchup is always favorable to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's because he's getting a big man or a power forward or whatever away from the hoop, and then if he gets matched on a pin down, it's offensive rebound and put back. And then he's hitting his free throws. And I think he's more athletic than people give him credit for. I think he doesn't have to overexert himself, and it's obviously worked out tenfold for him and is showing in his recent dominance.
I'm going to try to sort this list here by position. NBA 75 came out just a couple of years ago now, and I think it's worth going through this. So when you look at the centers on that NBA 75 list, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, duh. Wilt Chamberlain, duh. Dave Cowan's probably underrated. Patrick Ewing, makes sense. Moses Malone, absolutely. George Mikan, yep. Hakeem, yep. Shaq, yep. Robert Parrish, David Robinson, Bill Russell, Nate Thurman maybe gets a little overlooked. Wes Unseld, Bill Walton, and then Willis Reed.
Moses Malone on there?
Yes, Moses was in there. Man, it's hard for me to say the Jokic is not, he's not the number one center of all time right now. You look at some of those names.
Yeah.
But he is slowly, steadily building a case. To me, Jay is probably a top 15 player of all time. Maybe he'll never get there because he's probably only going to win one ring. Maybe this Denver team turns it on. It seems like a really good team around him, and they get a second one. If he gets multiple rings, okay, I think it's about a slam dunk that he's in the top 15. Yeah. With only one ring, though, what he's doing to me is at least worthy of consideration. This is a dude who, since this would be the 2018-19 season, has finished 4th, 9th, 1st, 2nd, 1st, and 2nd in MVP voting. Probably should have won it
2 years ago, right?
In 22-23, when they gave it to Embiid instead. This is a guy who was All-NBA first team, second team, first team, second team, first team. Again, all in the last 7 years. Has also been 13th, 4th, and 2nd in the new Clutch Player of the Year voting. Yeah, he doesn't look like much. No, he's not necessarily dominating like Shaq, but he is such a unique player. He's going to hold that archetype, I think, in NBA history, where he doesn't have the maybe physical dominance of a Wilt or even a Kareem, He's magic mixed with those guys. Oh, and by the way,
he's Larry Bird.
Sure. Why not?
Everybody always, if you want to know how Larry Bird would play in this era, just watch Joker. Obviously, I think Joker obviously crashes the board a little bit harder, but Larry Bird, I mean, that's exactly how he would play. I think Larry would probably shoot a higher percentage from three.
I mean, Jokic is shooting 40% 2 years in a row now.
But if you have the type of spacing in
the
pace, with Larry Bird coming down in secondary break transition threes,
night.
Yeah.
It's over.
At 6'8", yeah, he would.
Telling you he's going to shoot from here.
This is exactly who he is. This is exactly. So you're seeing it. Everybody always wondered, could Larry Bird keep up and all that? Well, now you're seeing it. Now you have no questions. And I would probably say Larry was probably more athletic, especially younger in his career, than Joker ever was. So
maybe in a traditional sense.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
in terms of leaping ability. Sure.
Yeah, and Larry was out on the break some, so he's more in the wing. You saw him like finish and dunking on guys and all that stuff.
But even like a guy like Luka, or even like James Harden, right, who can get up and dunk, but their version of athleticism, Shea, is another good example of this too. The deceleration, right? So much when we think of the acceleration, the suddenness, the explosiveness. There's an art to being a slow athlete too that those guys have really mastered.
Yeah, I mean that's what that's their ultimate equalizer, where everybody plays hectic, they play really, really smooth, and then they hit you with the hectic, and they go right back to where you want. They kind of lull you to sleep.
Yeah,
and they're really good and they're efficient with their footwork, and that's where the emphasis was back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So Joker right now in the meantime is just killing the NBA. Straight, he goes over and rides horses all off season, comes over here, kicks butt, goes right back to doing what he has to do.
Who do you think in, let's say, 25 years after these guys retire, who do you think gets thought of in a better light? Is it Jokic? Is it Giannis?
Ooh, that's tough.
I know.
That's tough.
Because Giannis has kind of the public image, the perception, good dude. Maybe he's the one franchise guy. We'll see.
That's tough. Man. Well, if Jokic keeps on this pace, you're just gonna have to. But it's gonna be Giannis is like overlooked, and he's just right below.
Yeah,
man.
Giannis might be Barkley with a ring.
Yeah, because he's like
because Chuck won MVP, didn't he?
Yeah,
yeah. Giannis has.
Yeah, Giannis has. It's kind of like Clyde Drexler and Jordan. Maybe.
Sure.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Clyde won a championship or whatever, and oof. I mean, he's kind of like, people don't realize how, like, everybody talking about Shaq, how dominant Shaq was, and then you hear people talk about David Robinson. Hakeem was the dude.
Hakeem was there.
So it's kind of like that. That's where Giannis at, where you go like, dang, that's actually what we should be trying to replicate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, Giannis, I think will get his just due. I don't think he'll be with Milwaukee the whole career.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
And if Jokic moves, it's a shock.
I think Jokic has a better chance of being with just the Nuggets than Giannis.
Will it be good or bad for Giannis's legacy to go to another team?
I think it'd be better if he goes to the right team. I think Jokic goes somewhere, and I don't know if they have the right support to really take advantage of his skill set.
Okay, let me spin you a narrative here. Giannis has to watch out so he doesn't become Dame.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, not that Dame did any real damage, because, I mean, he was one that held out to stick in Portland as long as he did. Giannis has tried to make it work with Milwaukee as long as he has.
But they can't get anybody there, so you can be like Dame, and then by the time you go to, power up with somebody,
it's too late.
It's too late. And so that's where Giannis, I think, has to go, whereas people will go to Denver. I mean, I was just thinking in my mind, I'm always thinking about my Timberwolves. Just imagine Jokic with Ant-Man.
Woo!
Just imagine how much easier basketball would be for Ant-Man.
Are we getting rid of the French connection to get Joker over there?
Yeah, you can have him. And Gobert's playing all right, but you can have him. I mean, that's where you got to have a good agent, and you also have to understand it's a business. I think they're both franchise players, so they'll always be welcome back. But I definitely see Joker staying longer than Giannis.
It'll be fascinating to monitor. Jokic still averaging a triple-double. Doesn't seem like he's showing any signs of slowing down. The flip side of that, Giannis is out. Can Milwaukee stay afloat with him gone? remains to be seen. But of course, in that division, you have the ascendant Pistons and still the Cavaliers, who have a lot of their infrastructure back from last year. We will certainly keep monitoring that. We'll go to break, wrap up hour 2 here on Old School in just a moment.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock. Perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Acreage owner getting ready for winter? Make it easy with John Deere compact tractors and gators from Acres Equipment. Add snow blowers, front blades, cabs, heaters, and loaders to tackle every chore. Right now, in-stock units are priced to move with competitive financing to fit your budget. Get winter ready today at acres.com. Acres Equipment, your acreage handled. Financing subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial. Not all customers qualify. See dealer for details.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Fight fans, Dynasty Combat Sports returns to the Pinnacle Bank Arena on Friday, November 21st for a massive night of cage fighting action. UFC veteran Derek Minner headlines as he faces Missouri's Jacob Ritchie. In the co-main event, Lincoln's Nate Morrow battles Ashton Caniglia, with Sean Lindgren and Jeremy Small throwing down in the featured pro bout. Local prospects Easton Edmond, Boudin, and Andrew Huffman lead the amateur side. 16 total fights are set for another electric night in the cage. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the arena box office. Fight card subject to change.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and light winds. The high near 53. Tonight, a chance of showers with patchy fog. A low around 32. Tomorrow, a continued chance of showers throughout the day with patchy fog possible. See a high near 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schweisow.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. Austin Norman and Jay Foreman with you. As always, 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Big thanks to Love Volleyball Nebraska. Exciting announcements on the way from them. To learn more, you can go to lovb.com. Jay, some news out of the NFL we can get to here in just a short time. Joe Burrow, a full participant at practice for the second consecutive day, had that turf toe injury that he suffered in week 2. Has been on IR since then. Is it worth it for the Cincinnati Bengals to bring Joe Burrow back this year? Should they play out the string? What would you do if you're head coach Zach Taylor and management of the Bengals?
I don't think the offense is the problem. He's your franchise. Is it really worth it? Juice worth the squeeze? I don't really think so. I mean, when you look where they're at, they're 3-7. You really don't have a chance of making the playoffs unless you win
7 in a row,
6 in a row, or 6 out of the last 7. Most likely not going to happen. You can't stop a nosebleed.
334 points allowed is officially the most in the AFC. And if we scroll down, 334, the Giants are the next closest I'm seeing at 300 points allowed.
Right. Yeah. So you're the worst defense in the league. You got to figure Baltimore Ravens are about to turn it up. So you got to think one of those games, maybe you lose to them. And then you got Pittsburgh that has a sizable lead. I'm probably, you know what I would do? I would give it Joe Flacco a couple more weeks, or whenever Joe Burrow felt. I mean, why not? I guess. But
if you're Joe Burrow, are you pushing to play? You're saying, I'll see you next year.
If I'm Joe Burrow, I was like, I'll see you next year. Because you have a long history of injuries. This is the time to reset. It's not going to change your standing in the franchise, or with the franchise. It's not going to change your standing within the league. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just? I mean, 7 games, and you don't. I mean, your season is going to end the same way, no matter if you're playing or Joe Flacco's playing.
What will the locker room think if he decides to call it a year versus if he tries to gut it out for the last, let's say, 4 games?
I don't think anybody would be upset at him because they know it's a business now. If Joe Flacco gets hurt, I think he should prepare like he's going to come back, but I wouldn't rush back out there. I'd make sure I'm 100% healthy.
110% healthy?
110%. And if it's the last 3 or 4 games and you can pull out some victories, it's always good to go into the offseason, with that winning feeling. But I'm not rushing out there and jeopardizing your career and jeopardizing, to be honest with you, Cincinnati, the little, foundation that the Cincinnati Bengals have as a franchise right now.
It's you.
Because You got rid of your defensive coordinator who's at Indianapolis doing good things. You got rid of one of your captains on defense in Wilson. You're going to get rid of Trey Hendrickson this offseason, I'm sure, right?
Probably.
So all the fabric of when you were making that run and going to the Super Bowl defensively is gone. Cam Taylor-Britt, who had the chance to get the bag, did not live up to it this year. Stewart is on injured reserve. There's not a lot of, obviously if Jamar Chase is out there and that's your dude, you want to make sure you do what you got to do. And with T. Higgins, because you might not be playing with T. Higgins anymore after this. And so go out there when you're 110% healthy, confident, and you can play up to your best ability. But do not go out there just because you had a good practice in a controlled environment and you looked
against the worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and you look phenomenal according to the report. So give it a couple more weeks and see where it's at. Joe Flacco will handle his business. And until then, you just wait on the sidelines.
Jimmy Burrow, we know you're listening. Pass it on. You heard it here first.
Joe Burrow would listen before Jamie, though.
Before Jamie?
Yeah. Jamie hard-headed. But he's one of my favorites, though.
Well, we can make sure Jamie sees it and passes it along.
Yeah.
Stage effect.
Yeah, we'll just text him. Say, pass this along to your brother. Tell him what to do with his career.
We're looking out for him.
We're looking out for him.
Even got his best interest at heart.
Even though he was told that
we can do better.
We can do better. We're happy with our quarterback room right now.
Mm-hmm. Someone in this state is still looking out for you, Joe.
I just would have liked to have been in that meeting. Can I please come here? You turned me down the first time. I'm looking to come the second time. No, that's all right.
We can do better. We like what we got.
A few months later, turn on ESPN. Number 1 pick, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
What if? I'm telling you, the 30 for 30 on Nebraska football would be epic.
Where do we have to start the 30 for 30?
When Frank left. Before I got fired. You even do that game.
So we're keeping you guys out of it.
Well, we need. Oh yeah, no.
Can we go back to 83?
No. Yeah, you do that.
82, 81.
No, you go 83.
83?
Which one when they dropped the bomb?
Well, 83 was when they went for 2 and missed.
No, which one game did they drop the bomb? Was that 82 or 83? Text line. Which one was when we dropped the bomb? Wide open. 9.
Oh, that was 83.
Okay,
yeah,
83.
That was 83.
So you start
yeah,
from
against
83.
Miami Friday.
Yeah, just go 83. And then you get to do when Coach Osborne got offered the Giants job. And then you know how you had to change in the whole team. Right down there. When I was on my recruiting trip, it was going to pop. I'll never forget Coach Osborne. You still thinking about coming? Yeah, I'm in, Coach, now. We in this together. And then the magical run, and then,
everything else.
Everything else.
That's probably the best way to phrase it. Everything else.
Yeah. Where are they now? Where are you? AA Ron, where are you right now?
Where are you, AA Ron?
Steve Peterson, where are you? Yeah, no, I'm just playing.
That's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Hour 3 of Old School. Plenty more to get you on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
It's No Shave November at Limitless Male. Let the beard grow and lose weight. If extra weight is holding you back from activities, the men's health experts at Limitless Male can help. It's no fun being left out because your weight is holding you back. GLP-1s from Limitless Male will help you drop the weight fast, and you won't be hungry. When you feel good and look good, you'll wonder why you waited so long for a free consult at Limitless Male.
Fight fans, Dynasty Combat Sports returns to the Pinnacle Bank Arena on Friday, November 21st for a massive night of cage fighting action. UFC veteran Derek Minner headlines as he faces Missouri's Jacob Ritchie. In the co-main event, Lincoln's Nate Morrow battles Ashton Caniglia, with Sean Lindgren and Jeremy Small throwing down in the featured pro bout. Local prospects Easton Edmond, Boudin, and Andrew Huffman lead the amateur side. 16 total fights are set for another electric night in the cage. change. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the Arena box office. Fight card subject to change.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxbeatlincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Hour 3? Old School, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, live in effect on this brisk day. It's kind of a damp, crispy, cold day. 1040 O Street. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. Brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients at Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Laundromat / Old Cheney, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. Covered a lot of stuff, obviously from NFL, obviously a little bit of college football, obviously a little bit of Nebraska, and always a delight with my man Kevin Meyer Cork and Bottle, 13th and South comes in, even though Meyer is out via on their lights via the pigeon,
the kamikaze pigeon.
Yeah, kamikaze pigeon. Usually they go into the glass, right? You know,
yeah.
But
Actually, just saw one out there about a month ago.
Yeah. And it's happened, when I was living in Minnesota, it was actually winter, and then obviously you get kind of the reflection off of there. It's like you just be upstairs and hear the boom. Yeah. So anyways, appreciate him stopping by, giving us obviously some libations, obviously knowledge and all that stuff. But now we're into the haze officially in the barn. Obviously today Matt Rule spoke about going to Penn State and plus plenty of other things. Austin, what type of audio do we have? We can break this down.
Yes, let me see.
We can break down the coach speak.
Okay, we have. How about this? Getting your depth guys more time to practice during the bye week. Starters a little bit. We have focus level in practice. We have how much more difficult is it to convince players to stay. Rule not being a fan of 2 bye weeks, or the busy December coming up is why Nebraska hired Pat Stewart.
We'll do multi still. In text line, you text in what you want. Let's start with the practice.
Okay, focus level in practice.
Yeah,
cool. Here is Matt Rule on that.
It's been a great week of practice. I think the bye, we were able to get a little bit of a jump start on the game, but at the same time, recover a little bit from the stretch that we've had, and they've been enthusiastic this week. We've practiced hard, and we were in pads 2 days, and they practiced hard. And offense, obviously when you go to the stadium we're going to, you have to prepare for the crowd noise. They've done a nice job with that, and so it'll we have to do it on game day, obviously, but it's been a good week.
I mean, you like it. I mean, I think it's tricky with the bye week. How do you want to approach it? I think bye week is good. It's different when I played. So let's just get that out there. It's obviously significantly different. You got to have a plan in it. You got to look at the injuries and where guys and the amount of reps they got. What you want to do is a good week. Sometimes when you're an older player, like if this is my senior year and I've been playing pretty consistently, it's a year that you want, a week that you want to make sure that you can get good lifts in. You can, kind of recover. You can, get your cardio back right or whatever you need to do. And then obviously get some practice reps. And then obviously being able to recharge and refocus. And then there's the young guys that it's a huge week. It's a tryout week for a lot of these guys, or at least I would assume. I don't know how they approach it, but I'm sure they evaluate that because they want to see, how much can you retain throughout the season, how much you've improved over the season. And then obviously it's very competitive when you have a lot of guys that haven't played it well. And I'm sure they're doing some, I don't know I wouldn't call them scrimmages, but you're doing, developmental guys on developmental guys, because this affects the roster moving forward because somebody that had to practice last week is going to be maybe not a starter, but going to be a significant player next year. It can be done. I did it. I went from redshirting to starting. I've seen other guys do it, and there's other guys that went from redshirting to playing a significant amount of playing time. So it was a huge week, both in the present, right, which is this season, which you have to have a plan for moving forward the next 2 weeks. But then also in the future, because the future starts right now. And obviously with the December, we'll dive into that with Pat Stewart on how do you formulate your roster. You got to retain your roster. You got to I'm sure they got contracts they need to get re-up. They got to talk. You got to handle the business part. And then you got to go out there and make sure you're first in line and at the top of everybody's list that you want potentially in the transfer portal. And then you got to sign your class as well. So there is no time off. There isn't time off for anybody. But also it's a good time because you're able to work in the present and look to the future.
Here's that Matt Rule comment about a minute and a half on what the 2 weeks looked like for the bye week of practice. Kind of leaned into what you were saying there.
Yeah, this is a little different because it's a 2 bye week year. I think next year goes back to 1. So the early bye week was really about the whole team. But even right now, as I'm here, there's developmental practice going on. We do it every Thursday. It's actually, I had done it differently. It's actually something Coach Holgerson brought. Like, hey, this is how I like to do this on Thursdays, and it's been fantastic. Like they put their pads on, and they're out there, and they're getting not just team reps, individual reps, routes on air, and then team reps. And so, we believe in that wholeheartedly. When you look at like the explosion that Emmett's made from, kind of sharing time to you think about like last year's bowl game, he was the tailback was the bowl game MVP, but it wasn't him. And it was Ramir, which we love and Emmett loved. So now where he's like this featured back, and I walk in, I have a Emmett for Heisman shirt on my desk. It's pretty cool. But that's not a function of something that happened this year. That's a function of just 3 years worth of his work and development, but also kind of the process. So when I look at some of our young players, I see what they're going to be in 2 or 3 or 4 years. The hard part is honestly, sometimes they don't see that and they panic. What should I do? But they're going to be really good. And so it just comes down to reps and practice. And that's why last year the bowl game was so important, because they haven't had that here in a long time. Now we'll have bowl practice this year. And to me, it's really an opportunity to accelerate some of these players, because our goal is always that our seniors play their best football when they're here.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of, practice reps. I think I was able to beat guys out in the future based on the way that we practice. And obviously, they aren't able to I think they're not able to do what we did, but, I think they can do it the way they're doing. You can find some advantage. I'm just writing over some notes, or writing some notes right here, right? Whereas Emmett, I think the best compliment you can give somebody that's waiting their turn, and when it does come to fruition, one of them is that he worked while he waited, reluctantly while he waited. He did.
Well, he was reluctant to wait, but he wasn't reluctant to work.
Right. That's what I meant. And so that sets something up for him way beyond even this year. And so I just did this right here. And I remember, when I redshirted, right? And of course, Coach Osborne, if you had to play and you had to get your ego fed, you'd let me run down there and kick off. And I did good enough to where he gave me the option. But I know I got more reps than this, but I'm just looking at this right now. So if you're a practice player, like a developmental player, and you're running, you're running other teams, scout teams, and you're, going through group work order, you're getting 80. To say you're getting 80 plays of practice, because when I played, it was like you ain't getting no rest. It was me and Quint Holgrave, and sometimes Quint went over and get some more. So essentially, you get 80 reps of practice. But let's just say you have to feed that little ego of yours, and you don't want a red shirt, and you have to play, and you're still getting. So then you're on the second and third team. So you're a rotational player in the, so you say you have 3 major stations, right? And you get 6 reps per station. That's 18 reps of practice. So you times that by 3. Okay. All right. That's 240 reps for me. Okay. Austin, you going to help me?
18 times 3 would be 54.
54. Okay. And so you go 240. Let's go say times 14, because you got 2 bye weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 12 games, 2 bye weeks.
Yes.
Right. Let's just say that.
240
times 14. 54
times 14 is 3,360.
3,360.
As opposed to 54 times 14, which is 756.
That's how I beat you out right there.
So that's essentially 2,500 more reps.
2,500 more reps. 2,500 in let's not, don't fool yourself. Everybody runs cover 3. Everybody runs cover 4. Everybody runs man to man. Everybody goes zero blitz, zone blitz, or whatever Nebraska's doing. Now it might be different, and you don't have to make checks, but when they put the cards up there, they're putting the cover 3. So you're getting those practice reps. And so when you look at a guy like Emmett, to show up every day, maximize his reps, go get practice squad reps or developmental reps, then get those 18 reps or whatever it is while he was waiting to get major reps, is how he was able to, parlay that into that 3-game stretch last year, which then set him up for this year. So,
well, and even before this year, set him up for the offseason.
Yeah.
Where he had the whole offseason to prepare to be the guy.
Yeah, but he never stopped working. So when he was waiting, and you saw, remember a couple games he'd do well, then he wouldn't play, much the next game.
Oh, it was against backups.
Right,
it was spot duty, whatever.
Right, and everybody questioned whether he could handle a Big Ten season. Well, he was working then.
Yeah.
And he was actually getting more rest because he wasn't playing in the game. So he was getting actually 2 or 3 days off, but he was putting in a time and a half with the works. He was getting the practice reps, but then he was getting obviously the regular reps. And that's how you're able to beat guys out. You're able to develop yourself mentally. You're able to invest yourself in it, and you're able to have a little bit of, vinegar, and when you get your chance. And Emmett's a great example of that. You have other guys that, been an example of that. I was an example of that. You got to have the opportunity to do so, to capitalize on that. Sometimes it's earlier, which was me, which was right after my redshirt year. And by no means did they plan for me to redshirt and end up starting for 4 years. Or it's like Emmett, where he redshirted, which he needed coming out of high school. And then he chose.
Yeah, Minnesota prep football, not the greatest.
He needed to get a little bit bigger, but then he did. And then that freshman year, he saw some glimpses, but they're like, oh, you're not ready. then not this year, but last year, like, okay, who's going to be the backup, right? And then he showed some stuff, and then he, didn't get to play for some. Then he was waiting, and then here comes Dana Holgorsen that, had no allegiance to anybody. Boom. And now you have him here, the leading rusher in the Big Ten and maybe the second in the nation. I don't know what Missouri guy did last week, but so how these guys that are on the developmental squad approach every day like a game and try to be the scout team player of the week and use it to their advantage will set them up for the future. There's a lot of great players that have played here that I know have redshirted, and we didn't get the 4-game, look-see. Jason Peter redshirted, Jared Thomas redshirted, I redshirted, Carlos Polk redshirted. I mean, you could just go like the whole pipeline. I think redshirted. I think Zach Weger played as a freshman, but some of those guys, redshirted. I mean, you could go, and Dominic Suma, I think, might have redshirted, or no, I think he played as a freshman. But some great players redshirted. And so how you use it and how you attack it is exactly what Coach Rule said. It could really pay off for you if you really use practice as a tool versus as a nuisance.
To answer your question, Emmett is now 5th in the country in rushing, 4 yards back of Jeremiah Love, 5 yards back of one-time Nebraska target Kawan Lacey, and then about 180 yards back of Cam Cook at Jacksonville State, and 15 yards back of Hardy at Missouri.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, he's having a phenomenal year. He's going to continue to have a phenomenal year. And he's an example. When you're a coach, you want to say, look, this is a guy that, had to, wait his turn reluctantly, but he worked while he waited. You don't think it can happen? Ask him. It sucks in the meantime, but long term, he was a competitor. He didn't, take his ball home and run. He beat a lot of guys out that they had ahead of him.
Chubby Rhino, Starter Hammond Jewelers text line, wonders why Rule wouldn't like 2 bye weeks. We have a cut on that. Here's Matt Rule, why he doesn't like 2 bye weeks.
Just think it makes for a long season, and so, but there's 2 of them, and so we just try to attack one way, and the second one a little bit different way. And so I told them, like, we played 4 games, we had a bye, and then we had a run of, I guess, with 5 games, and so that 5 games in the Big Ten, that takes a toll on you, right? And so this bye week came at a really, really good time, and but yeah, I'll just. It's like playing this week at night, whatever they give me. I've learned that no one actually asks for my opinion, so though I love to give it, but no. So it's just whatever it is, it is.
Makes for a long season, is what Matt Rule said. Jay, as a player, would you like 1 bye week versus 2?
Depends on how we're playing.
All right, but I thought football wasn't circumstantial, Jay.
Well, it depends on how we're playing. If we're rolling, I don't want no bye week. Let's keep it rolling, baby. No, I'm just playing. I think it all depends on when it is. I wouldn't mind it, but also see it does extend the season, and when it's late in the season like this, then you play 2, and then you get a kind of another bye week depending on what bowl game you go. You get maybe even more than that. It does stretch out the season, but that's part of expanding the conferences and all that. So
in playing very early in the season in August, like Nebraska did,
right? So I think it's something that until they really set it that it's going to be this way from here on out, then you can go back and reset your off-season schedule. Now it's kind of, hit or miss. So, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be ideal, but I don't know if there's ever an ideal bye week. When it's really early, I don't necessarily like it unless we're struggling and another part of the team has to get it together.
Need some more time to gel, need a week to install.
And sometimes you don't want it late if you're really rolling.
Right.
And you really catch your rhythm. So I think it's more about what you do in the bye week. Is do you work the bye week? Do you have a plan? And then, once, Coach Rule sets the plan, as a player, you have to, activate and accomplish that plan individually and collectively. You do that, you can have 3 bye weeks as long as because then it's productive.
Yeah.
If you go into the bye, if the bye week starts the week before while you're playing, and then goes into the week after, well, then that's not good because that means the lack of focus is there. So if everybody's focused, then it'll be all good.
Well, let's talk about this Nebraska team in the bye week specifically. They played 4, had a bye, played 6, had a bye, and then are going to play 2 more. USC, pretty physical. UCLA, maybe not as much. Two incredibly physical teams to their core coming up in Penn State and Iowa. Bye week this late, Jay would normally tell me, hey, this is a maintenance, get yourself right, make sure he feels good as you can for the last 2 weeks, even if you're not going to be 100%. But if you're Nebraska, how do you maybe still crank up the intensity over this bye week to not be caught by surprise or, not used to the way that you're going to have to play, switching from kind of the quote unquote California West Coast versus the traditional Big Ten?
Sure. I think the bye week's good. How you do that, I think you get back to fundamentals. We used to always use it. We had really long group works and linebacker individual drills. Get back and brush up on some of the things that you're not able to do for long periods of time during the season. And then obviously you get some contact in, but then obviously you go into the bye week. You got some time off, and then you just crank that intensity up like it's a regular old game week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whenever you practice. I'm more about the approach to the bye week, and then obviously you finish the bye week. I'm not thinking that I'm going back to Minneapolis until I walk off that field and I get my recovery, my meals in, my school in, or whatever it is. That's when I'm done. I'm not thinking about hitting the road and saying, man, I hope a coach blows the practice 30 minutes early so I can get on the road and go up through 80 to 35. No, I'm not doing that. So if you finish everything in the bye week, the plan that they set forth will pay off into the next week, because some of the things that they covered or really wanted to get better at in the bye week is what they need to hit the ground running with this week. And so, yeah, I also look at it. You got two significantly different teams, like you said. So now this is really where we can really shift your mind and really hone in, kind of like you were able to do against Cincinnati. You got all season, and then you got the last 2 or 3 games of a new quarterback, a new system. You just played Michigan State, so you saw how you've been successful against Michigan State, so forth and so on. Penn State, so it gives you a chance to really go to Happy Valley and put on a good performance.
The other thing I know you mentioned was December, obviously just around the corner. Matt Rule was asked about that in terms of, what does it look like with the roster? Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, so why we hired Pat Stewart, and Logan and Keith Williams and all those guys. And at the end of the day, I think the first priority is, retaining the players on your team that you feel like, should be here, and providing vision for the others. And, I know that there's some new rules are starting to come out now. We're starting to get trickle here about this, here about that. So it's going to be a unique changing time. Last year we lost some players that I really cared about and liked, and but we brought in some really good ones too. And so for me, it's going to be about our own guys, and then the signing class in December, and then the portal. And there's, to your point, there really is no rules. Like the NFL, they have the legal tampering period, and so it is what it is. We'll attack it and just try to be the best at it.
Yeah, I mean, you had a GM, and I think he obviously came from the NFL. I think he was at the Patriots, so he knows. He probably has a good. Pat Stewart isn't just going to show up in December 1 and be like, "All right, I'm going to start working at it." I'm sure he's been,
that's his job,
chomping at the bit to get going, and probably has money allocated to position groups and offense, defense, special teams. And you got to have those conversations, with the players, because you like to, obviously retain some of your good players, because that's where you're able to build, and so you're rebuild, you're reloading instead of rebuilding. And then if you lose 1 or 2 or whatever guys that you have in the portal, you want to have a plan with that too. So when you kind of going into the bowl game, you probably feel really comfortable what your team will look like going into next year, because after the bowl game, you get a month off, and then you have all season programs, and then you might get a couple late, guys that, had to finish up stuff, or JUCO guys or something. But, I envision it as this December is like the draft for the NFL, because you finish the season. Now it's ramped up now. You finish the season. You have the signing class with your high school kids. You're getting your leg up on that free tampering or free agency in like the NFL. You get 72 hours. Now you get obviously significant more time. But then once the draft is over, I can tell you from being in a scouting department, and when mini camps start, which will be their off season, winter conditioning and 7 on whatever they're doing. GMs in the NFL, when you go into those mini camps, mandatory ones, after that, or even before, but especially after, unless there's a couple of surprises, 90% of the roster is already picked.
Like after the draft.
Yeah, well, that first mini camp, you already know. You already kind of know, unless there's a big trade or somebody tries to
big injury,
something like you got to make a move. They know about 90% of who's going to make the team,
which would be about 46 guys, 47 guys.
About that, there's always
which leaves you
2 or 3
5
spots.
or 6.
Well, there's
maybe.
actually 2 because of the specialists are in there.
Oh,
You don't
true.
ever count them.
True.
So now, a lot of it's based on salary cap, based on what you've seen in the offseason, and obviously where you drafted them, right? It's no different than here. 4 or 5-star, we signed them in the class, transfer portal, paycheck, opportunity, and then the rev share is your salary cap. So it's all kind of the same, just diced up a little bit different.
How long do you think it'll take to notice Pat Stewart's effects on the roster? Because I don't think Nebraska is in a place that it's going to be Texas A&M. We have that 1-year turnover. Hey, here's this huge infusion. It's going to be obvious
Or
in
Texas Tech.
Or exactly. Is it going to be a slower build to maybe the Patriots way that the Pat Stewart came from? You'll see it maybe 3-4 years down the line.
Right now, but I think it'll be more internal. I think it'll be. I'm assuming it'll be a streamlined process on what you allocate salary cap wise to your, let's say your top 10% players. That's right. Those are the guys that take up, whatever it is. And then
so your top 10, 11 guys.
Right. And then you got the others 70, 80%. And then you got your, 20% that are your developmental guys. And then you break that down to another bracket of, okay, what's the starting linebacker that I got to go get out of the portal with 2 years experience and this much production. This is how much the going rate is. And this is how much we pay in our system, right? Or this is Austin Orman, who had a really good freshman year. You were at the 20%, but now we got to get you up into 70%, and you play wide receiver.
Let me stop you right there. I was always better as a sophomore, but I appreciate the
that's fine. Sophomore,
benefit of the
freshman,
doubt. I appreciate it.
And then what the pay raise is going to be for you, and you got to allocate that per position group, and then you have to have the asterisks just in case AJ Foreman is in the portal. You make an exception just in case somebody falls in your lap, like Mr. Fast Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't. I don't know if they always recruit
a Jordy Ball, maybe.
Yeah, Jordy Ball. You get that phone call, then I got to make something after. We got to make it happen, and so that you do that and you be more efficient with it. I always said that, the best way I think to do it is you got your top guys, and then the guys that are a little bit more high risk or all potential guys, less there, and then really focus on the nut and bolts guys that will raise everybody up. We'll be back in business. We'll be cooking with peanut oil.
Is that your favorite kind of oil?
Olive oil is probably the best. So since I know my doctor listens.
Plain Jane or EV?
What's EV?
Extra virgin olive oil. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I know. What you extra virgin. Yeah. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. From now through the end of November, Ferndale fresh turkeys are just $3.99 per pound and in limited stock, perfect for your holiday meals. Plus, you can stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. With locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha, get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you familiar with everything the Lincoln Children's Museum offers? Camps, field trips, and game day playdates are just a few of the extraordinary programs provided by the Lincoln Children's Museum. When you spend a day with your family at the Lincoln Children's Museum, your child's mind can explore while enjoying the many interactive exhibits they have, while keeping admission prices extremely affordable. Stop by the Lincoln Children's Museum today in downtown Lincoln, or visit them online for more information at lincolnchildrensmuseum.org.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at Schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
This Black Friday, it is time to hit your goals before the new year even starts. At Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, get 40% off our next 10-week challenge, plus 6 weeks for free to kickstart your fitness journey. Start training December 1st with kickboxing, strength training, and personalized nutrition. So when our official challenge begins January 10th, you're already ahead of the game. Spots are limited. Don't wait for January to make your resolution. Start strong now. Visit fxbeatlincoln.com or stop by one of our 2 locations at South 40th and Yankee Hill or North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. Stronger starts here.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and light winds. The high near 53. Tonight, a chance of showers with patchy fog. A low around 32. Tomorrow, a continued chance of showers throughout the day with patchy fog possible. See a high near 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, second segment. Husker week. Obviously, Matt Rule had his final press conference for the week, and so I need to get that off of there.
They couldn't see it. You're good.
I can see it. But,
calling your name.
Yeah.
Home beckons.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there where he's talking about the bye week, what he wanted to do. Pat Stewart, December. It's a huge year for Nebraska. You had success. You had 7 wins. Obviously, you want to win the next 2. Definitely don't want to go 0-2. But then, you got to really try to shape your team going into, the bowl game. And it's also interesting. You talked about the signing class. People sometimes forget they can come and practice.
Mm-hmm.
Early enrollees can.
Yeah.
So you can get a good, look-see into, guys that are going to be on campus here full time, at the end of January, February, and they're allowed to go to the bowl game. I think some of the guys went to the bowl game last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of advantages of where Nebraska is in the positive, even though they got a big task come Saturday night. But business is business. That's why you have, Keith Williams and Pat Stewart, those guys that are over there, trying to do a great job of retaining the roster, looking for guys, looking for fits. I think one of the biggest things you asked about what Pat Stewart can do, and he's not going to do it himself, is just kind of really hone in and identify what a Husker is. Right? It's kind of like, and the reason why I'm saying it is because when you listen to Jason Light talk about the effect that Tom Brady had, on Tampa as a franchise, they evaluated and reshaped what a Buccaneer is and what they want to get out of a draft pick or a free agent guy. So what is allowed them to do is really streamline and be more efficient into what their process is. They have probably some non-negotiables, and then go from there, because every one that you can do besides the non-negotiable in the positive way, upticks you in the draft status and obviously free agency status. And they're able to retain their players. It probably helps out in their salary cap, but then also it gives a lot of clarity in that locker room that you have, like in this case, 53 like-minded guys. So that's where you see the emergence of Baker Mayfield. They've welcomed him. Obviously, Mike Evans is a little banged up, but then obviously you have, defensive players and Todd Bowles and all that. Their stamp is on that franchise and program. And so that's probably one of the best things that they can do as a staff. And obviously Pat Stewart, and they got to go out, and I'm sure he's got to negotiate deals, deal with agents and all that stuff, and take phone calls in the middle of the night, and sometimes negotiate against other teams and negotiate against yourself and try to get it over the goal line. But more importantly, sometimes you got to be willing to go above and beyond for a player that and feel is a Nebraska player, or if it's somebody that's maybe not genuinely wanting to be a Husker, that just wants the Husker paycheck. You got to be able to walk away from that as well.
And that's where it's tougher in football, especially at the college level, because we've talked about how Fred Hoiberg was able to do that with men's basketball, but that roster is capped at a 7th, a 9th the size, depending on how you want to math it, depending on where you think Nebraska is. But ultimately, to get down to the 105, where it'll be a 7th of the size, essentially. In football, it's hard because you can't just take this is a Husker guys as your walk-ons, because you need, hey, this is a Husker to contribute on the field. But you can't just take the top half of the roster, 53, and say this is all we care about. We'll just fill out the bottom of the roster with whatever. It has to be a Husker 1 through 105.
Yeah,
and that's incredibly hard to do at all, let alone quickly.
And there's different variations to that. It's like, okay, for me, I knew they wanted me to be a Nebraska Cornhusker, but they're like, you need to develop in the red shirt. So it wasn't, they cared about me, but the guys that were playing is taking priority. And then that's where some responsibility by yourself it comes into play. And then obviously you got to continue to kind of check in and re-recruit players and stuff like that. So it's 1 through 105, but everybody has to have their own unique plan. If I'm pitching,
which is where I think, to your point before, in multiple times on this show, the assistant coaches.
Those are the guys. I'm just saying, this is just my opinion. If I was building a staff, okay, Jay Foreman's the head coach, obviously. You got your coordinators and all that. Then you got your position coaches. Then you have your assistant coaches to the
assistant to the regional managers.
But then the guys that I think are very, very important, and I don't know how many they can have, because I don't know, it always changes, and maybe that's
the team's uncapped right now.
Right. I would have 1 or 2 analysts per position group. With it, because here you can get more. They can do, and this isn't the Brian Kelly doing
Valet
to LaFleur and all that. No, I'm not. You're not just like, oh, get me a coffee type of stuff.
Yeah.
This is, you got those guys that can help them with technique. You can develop the second and third team guys. You can help out with scout team. You can really get in their minds and getting them to understand what they're expecting from you as a Husker, and get them mentally, up to speed, spiritually up to speed, and plug the holes that the position coach has to coach in the present time, develop the guys that are playing in the present time. He's got to recruit in the present time, both high school and potentially transfer portal guys. Then he's got to go back and re-recruit everybody that those 3 things I just said. And then obviously try to re-recruit the guys that the analysts will be were working with. Reason why those analysts are so important, because those are the guys that don't go off on the road. Those are the guys that can be your eyes and ears and give you a real good pulse of the team, and not provide any, like a position coach won't have to be worrying about somebody like that. It's got to be somebody that's going to be there for the right reasons, because if they're not there for the right reasons and trying to go around or backstab the coach, then he's gone. So then really, they just really cut themselves off, from a great opportunity, when these guys, where their job, it can be way more efficient and you don't have to worry about all the nonsense. They don't have to go to the donor parties unless they're needed. They don't have to.
But why would they be needed?
Right. But just say somebody wants to, I don't know, whatever. You don't have to do all that. They can be football development and what you need them to do to make you guys look better 1,000%. The teams that do that, which are the ones up there, they do it and it's not publicized. They really get a lot of bang for their buck.
And that to me is the coaching the coaches part of things, where the assistants, obviously the coordinators will get the most attention. Then you get down to your position coaches, and then you have your, GAs, your analysts, what have you. But if those guys actually want to get into coaching, they're taking that job so seriously. They understand what it is they sign up for, and they're diving in. They got to be guys you can trust that know football, right? Matt Rule talked about Jalen Grahamstown on Monday, right? A guy that's getting right now backup quarterback reps. But Matt Rule said that's a guy I'd love to hire to be on my staff. Kid that knows football, played it at a high level for his level, wants to be a coach, and that's where you start in that industry. Is you get that opportunity, right? You work with those people, and eventually, work your way up the ladder, position coach, coordinator, what have you. It's one thing to coach your assistant coaches, but the guys below that are the hungry ones that have something to prove. That, to your point, are the boots on the ground all the time.
And there's different variants. I mean, I think Phil Snow's a great example of that. He's, I don't know, he's a consultant or analyst or whatever, but you got guys that can probably break down tape with a different view and see things and maybe articulate it to players that can help a coach, really streamline the development of it. Right. And, when you're in there and, I've been in the linebacker rooms. For instance, so Jed Fish, right? Obviously I know Jed. I knew he was always going to be a great coach because of the way he was able to talk to me at times, talk with me at times, eat lunch with me at times. All while he was learning. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, he came in under Vic, and obviously Reggie was my position coach.
He didn't come to Houston, arrived who he was as a coach.
Right, but he was learning. Yeah. But also what he was doing is taking what he knew from an offensive standpoint and talking to me from a defensive standpoint. And then obviously he was a good filter between, at times, me and Reggie, me and Vic, and kind of the whole big picture thing.
What, you needed a filter between you guys?
No, Reggie would be busy. No, we weren't throwing hands. No, Reggie would be busy, but then he'd be like, "Okay, this is what you need," so I could be well prepared when I met with Vic and Reggie.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So but at no time did Reggie fear for his job with Vic or anything like that or whatever. I mean, it was such a. And then now look at him. The other guy that was there was Greg Roman.
Yeah,
but he was on the offensive side. But you know what Greg was doing? He was helping out the defense with cards, and he was helping out the offense with cards. And I knew both of those guys when they got a chance because of the way that they were invested. They didn't get to go to the games all the time, and I don't know if the NFL rules were at that time, or you know what I'm saying. But boy, I'm telling you what, they made sure that we handled our business. It's like John and Brady Hoke. They were at Buffalo. Obviously, they right. Both have been coordinators and head coaches, right? You get those guys, and it's Charlie Joyner and all these guys. They just kind of were just figuring it out, but they really, really helped uplift the whole staff, uplift the players. I sat and watched Charlie Joyner teach Eric Moles and Peerless Price about running after the catch, and then I saw them the first time in a long time, 2,000-yard receivers destroy people running after the catch. Eric Moles, it was kind of like thunder. Eric Moles was 6'2", 220. He was just a dude.
Yeah.
Peerless Price was a guy to take it off the top, but to add to his game. You know what I'm saying?
He was Alec Pierce.
Right. Yeah.
So
add to his game, man. It was really, really good. It was like, even like here in Nebraska, you had, we had Coach Samuel. Then we had Clint Brown in there. Clint Brown, I think last I checked, he was the D coordinator. Stephen F. Austin. He was a defensive coach at Kansas State. I wrote about it in my book, and I'll tell everybody that dude showed me exactly what it meant and what I need to know about being a Husker, because I ain't no tiddly poo, straight up.
But how could you?
Right. But he showed me and taught me all the nuances about defenses, how to work, all that stuff, the standard. There was times that he stood out there and watched me. He was like, man, that wasn't good enough when we had our red shirt scrimmage. He's like, oh, see, you better do better next week. So those are the things, right, that you could, possibly do. And that's what if you're trying to really, really, lessen that curve and take some of that friction off of there, it could be a possibility.
It's got to be more than just a possibility.
Yeah.
You got to have those guys. If
Yeah.
you don't, well, first of all, got to know what a Husker is.
Yeah.
Have an idea. If it works, great, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, don't abandon it, but figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know what a Husker looks like at this point. And maybe it's different for Pat Stewart, just getting in the door. But you've had essentially now a year's worth of conversations. You got to know it's your job to know what Coach Rule views as a Husker, and then his position coaches as well. It's about time to execute.
Yeah, there's a lot on the table. A lot goes into it. You got to look at the, outside distractions. You got to, ideally, I would like to have people that's been in there and know how to read people, different parts of the country, different people, different backgrounds. That can, you know what, man, that might be a problem. Are you really, is the juice worth the squeeze? All that type of stuff, man. It all goes into it, man. And so it's as much as if we just talked about 50 million things, I'm sure he's pretty excited to get, his first time really getting into it and kind of knowing the new rules and what could be coming down the pipe. I'm sure he's pretty excited to, work on the present team and the future team as well. So anyways, a lot of Husker talk. When we come back, we'll have 5 minutes, about give or take, before the Huskers tip off. We'll talk about what we need to see from them tonight. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No Shave November is raising awareness of men's health and prostate cancer. Limitless Male wants you to know low T is real. Low energy, brain fog, belly fat, low libido. Your T levels matter. They affect how you function. If you have symptoms, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel good, you'll wonder why you waited so long for a free consult at Limitless Male.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100, or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable chips, and of course it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Brown's Shoe Fit has a Black Friday deal so good it's available for 3 days. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit from November 28th through November 30th for 20% off everything store-wide. Brown's has all your favorite brands, plus Lincoln's largest selection of Uggs, which make the perfect Christmas gift. And speaking of stocking stuffers, buy 3 Smart Wool socks, get 1 free during the extended Black Friday sale from November 28th through November 30th at Brown's Shoe Fit, 66th and Q in Lincoln.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through November 23rd, enjoy boneless ribeye roast, choice for $19.99 per pound, prime for $29.99 per pound, fresh ham loaf $4.49 per pound, Bush Light 30 racks $17.99 each when you buy 2, and bakery fresh pies $9.99 each when you also buy 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, quick segment? Austin Orman, Jay Foreman. KC barbecue time. Huskers against the New Mexico Lobos. First game in a little bit of it's kind of like a jamboree, and be a good test. Huskers are favored, but New Mexico plays a little bit of a style that could be the kryptonite to a team like Nebraska. So, Austin, with that being said, what are the top 2 things that you want to see from our Huskers tonight to make your postgame a lot more relaxed?
Excitable.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like to see Nebraska's shot selection be good. We talked about it earlier in the show. Take the open threes. Don't take them just to take them. Make sure it's a shot with a purpose. And then obviously, like just in football, take care of the basketball, yada, yada, what have you. Get after it on the glass, right? That's the basketball equivalent of stop the run, really. But outside of that, I am going to be really interested to see how well Nebraska's guards can defend without fouling. We know Sam Hoiberg's pretty good at that. Jamarcus Lawrence picked up 2 really quick ones against Oklahoma, and they survived it. Jamarcus Lawrence is probably the best shooter among Nebraska's guards. That's a mid to upper 30% guy. And in a game like this, where you anticipate getting some open looks, Hoiberg can knock him down. Jacobson can knock him down. I still think Husker fans would be most comfortable with Jamarcus Lawrence in that setting. And he's a pretty darn good guard rebounder as well when he's locked in and engaged. We know that Sam Hoiberg had the first, 6 rebounds of the game for Nebraska against Maryland Eastern Shore. Cale Jacobson ended up with 6 against Oklahoma. I still think Lawrence is probably the most well-rounded. So if he can defend without fouling, stay on the floor, those other guys can play their role. I think that really simplifies everyone when it comes to the shot selection and doing the rest of their job.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think most important thing, I think Nebraska needs to get off to a good start as far as being efficient on offense. And, everybody here is open threes and, from coaching a little bit of basketball, as soon as you come over half court, technically you're open. Realistically, you can get that shot any day of the week, anytime during the game. I want to see Nebraska make New Mexico play defense longer into their defensive shot clock than they normally want to do.
Yeah.
Because then that will lead to more, layup opportunities. You're able to get them in some defensive switches that they don't necessarily like. And I like that. I keep going back to where they did that to Oklahoma, and they got in the rink, and he didn't make it, but he got to the free throw line, hit 2, extended the lead, and essentially was the nail in the coffin. So,
and this too is a game where you mentioned Rink Mass. I mean, 26 points, season high for him, really good. Price Sanford, career high of 28. This to me, though, Jay, can be a role players type of game where obviously your stars got to show up, but this is a game where if Frager wants to rediscover the shooting stroke, if Essegian's going to play a role, Jerry Garcia might get some minutes. That Mast and Sanford are going to have the ball in their hands and be asked to do a lot. Jamarcus Lawrence as well. But those other guys, this can be a spot up with purpose game for them where they can maybe put up the gaudy totals and hit the open shots that those guys create for them.
It's a great game for that. And then it's a great opportunity for, like I said, Frager or somebody like that to really get off. And with the way that New Mexico plays, you can get some easy buckets. And that, Austin, whether it's a layup or easy mid-range, then all of a sudden you get on a roll and they hadn't prepared for you. This, where it might be a game where Essegian or Braden Frager gets off because he wasn't able to get on the scoreboard last game, right? Itching to make his impact, especially if he comes off the bench. Obviously, he has position flexibility, which actually matches up really well with a team like New Mexico, with their size and athletic ability.
Well, there's probably going to be NBA scouts in the building.
Yeah,
I would guess. I mean, PJ Haggerty will be there for Kansas State. You look at Josh Hubbard from Mississippi State. Yeah. They're going to be eyes on you. This is a good time to have a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time to get your name out there, and for like Rink Masters, obviously continue along this streak of really, really good play. And he looks physically. He's always been kind of fit, but he looks really good right now. So, anyways, appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we'll have Jason Peter in studio tomorrow to finish off the week heading into Penn State. Jay Foreman, my man, Austin Norman, old school. We'll holler at you tomorrow.